everybody, and it's episode 7 of the Stagler.
Yes, sir.
How's everybody doing today? That's great to hear. I'm really glad that you're doing well. I gotta be honest, I'm feeling a little tired, actually.
You're tired?
Not tired in a, exhausted, just, I'm a little lazy, I guess. I'm just feeling a little lazy. It's like a lazy Saturday for me.
I feel that. It's been kind of a rough week.
Why is that? What have you been doing this week?
Well, okay. I want to do a pre thing. We had a question last week about music in movies.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And I remembered something that I don't know why I didn't say it, because it's one of my favorite moments. In Star Trek Beyond, they use the Beastie Boys to kill all the aliens.
I remember you telling me all about this.
And it's the best moment ever. I just wanted to shout that out real quick.
Well, I'm glad we're sharing that with the audience.
Yes, of course.
But other than that, what's been going on?
Well, obviously, I was catching up on my LGBTQ films.
Sure.
So I can get my list ready. And I also watched Snowpiercer.
All right.
The newest 2 episodes. There's only 2 episodes left of Snowpiercer. And I gotta say, yikes.
Really?
It's a yikes right now for Snowpiercer.
That bad?
I will be honest. I can't say that I've paid 100% attention.
Okay.
I maybe be doing something else, while it's on. But it's just going in a strange direction.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm here for it. But there was a pretty good cliffhanger for the latest episode. So
okay.
Hopefully something cool could happen in the last few episodes. We'll see what's popping with that. But if it's still going the way it is now at the end, I will not be returning for season 2.
All right. Well, that's can't say I didn't see it coming, I guess.
So yeah, surprise. And also the thing is how much can you really do with Snowpiercer? You're on a train and it
right. Yeah.
You're very extremely restricted. So, what they can do for, however long they want to do the show for, I don't know.
I do feel like you can do a lot. I mean,
right, it is 1,000 cars long, but I feel like it works better in the film. But what do I know?
Sure. I mean, with the film itself, hours wise, what's the hour? Is it an hour long episodes?
Well, no, it's on TNT, so it's 45 minutes or whatever.
But it's still, so it's exceeded the movie in length by now, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's something, I guess.
Yeah, good for them.
What
not
else?
Better than the movie.
Right. Of course not.
I haven't really done anything else except for me and you both. We played through The Last of Us 2.
Well, what do you mean? We didn't both play through it.
Well, I played it and you were via share play on PlayStation with me.
Right. When that I didn't actually get to play it at all, but
right,
it worked out.
But we experienced the game together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that soon. But that's all I did.
Why don't we talk about it now?
You want to talk about it now?
Why would we wait?
That's true. I guess, yeah. And it fits with our theme for this week for the Spotlight.
And what's our theme for this week for the Spotlight?
LGBTQ movies.
Yeah.
It's Pride Month.
Even though Last of Us 2 isn't a movie, but it's close enough.
It counts.
It's cinematic, at the very least.
It's very cinematic. And there's been lots of cinematic discussion around this game.
Yes.
Lots of discussion. Lots of it not very good.
Yeah, not a lot of good stuff going on with that. How do you want to broach this subject?
Okay. I guess we'll just kind of give a synopsis of what kind of happened with this game.
Sure,
really
go ahead.
Quickly. So, obviously, the first Last of Us is widely loved by anyone who's ever played it. People think it's one of the greatest games ever of all time. The second one was supposed to come out this year. Everyone was super excited. About, what do you think, 4 months ago?
Yeah.
4 months ago, a big leak came out that revealed extremely important plot points in the story, and it really, really pissed a lot of people off.
Well, really, it's it was not the end of the movie, but of the game, but probably the climax at a kind of, not really actually, it's kind of right before the climax, but and then the big crux of the movie. Oh my god, of the game.
Might as well be a movie.
So, yeah. Well, we only talk about movies, so I'm trained to it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so like the crux of the game and kind of the ending of the game were leaked pretty badly.
Yes. And
People were not happy.
people were not happy. People were like, I'm not going to buy this game anymore. I'm upset.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. The game comes out. Critics love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got extremely high critical rating. But fans just like bombed the game with like 1-star ratings.
Yeah.
So I can't say you can really get a good gauge of what people actually think who have played the game.
Mm.
But I would say it's just kind of like it's very divided. But there are people who very much enjoy it.
Right, yeah.
And obviously people who don't like it so much. But who cares what they think? Everyone's here to know what we think.
Right, exactly. Well, I thought we'd even mention the kind of more about the controversy itself, because it really did go in one specific direction that people were mad about. Was like a very specific thing about the game.
Okay.
And there was a lot of stuff going on. And I mean, let's be honest, we're talking about gamers here.
Let's be honest.
We're talking about gamers, okay? Red-blooded gamers. And I don't use that word lightly, you know.
Right.
But there is a trans character in the game, and people were mistaking who that they were.
Oh, it's so bad.
So there's a trans character in the game, and straight up the Abby. Also, full spoilers, just so you know.
Yeah.
But there's a character Abby in the game who is she's a very buff young woman.
She's very strong.
She's very strong. She's got very big arms, which, you know, that's cool. And
sure.
So everybody kind of came to the conclusion that she was trans because we knew that there would be a trans character in the game, but
right.
She's not.
No.
But people didn't really care about the facts of who the trans character was, but because she, you know, she does have a manly physique.
Right.
And people kind of took it and, you know, said a lot of pretty not cool things.
Yeah,
and everything.
The game, not an epic gamer moment.
Well, it is an epic gamer moment.
Oh.
That's the problem. But yeah, I don't.
It's not good. It was not a good look for the gamers.
Yeah, and obviously, the director and everybody who worked on it got kind of a lot of flack from those people, you know. And I'm not saying the director is like a great guy, because Naughty Dog's pretty notorious for like crunch and like making their workers work in like bad environments and stuff like that, and like making them watch like actual footage of things dying to like do the animations better.
Right.
Like it's pretty messed
Probably
up.
Good.
But you know, probably doesn't deserve all the stuff that's being thrown to them. But you know, that's it. That's all for as far as that goes.
Right. Well, what do we think about the game? Where to start with this game? To be honest.
What do you think about the first game? We should start at the first game.
I love the first game. I don't think I love it as much as other people love it.
Right.
But I mean, it's a 9 out of 10 game for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I really like it. My favorite part of it's probably the ending. I love the ending of that game.
Solid.
It's very kind of up in the air a little bit. You know, it could go. It isn't anywhere because now you know where it goes. But
right.
But no, I thought it was a really good ride. It's one of those things you like to see where you're following one character and the audience's perspective on that character can kind of change throughout the experience, you know, be it a movie or a game. And I like that a lot. I mean, we're big fans of Breaking Bad, and a similar thing happens there, you know.
Right.
So you know, that's a very fun way to tell a story, by having you kind of turn on some people you maybe used to like, or turn on people maybe you used to not like, you know. And Last of Us 2 tries to do that super hard. That's kind of like what they're trying to do, is do that to multiple characters this time. In the first game, they only did it to Joel. Now they're trying to do it with like 3 characters.
Right, yeah.
You know. But yeah, where should we go into like step by step what the plot is?
Yeah, I guess that would probably be best. So the game starts off,
right,
and you're chilling. You're playing as Joel right at the beginning, and then some stuff happens with there. Okay, wait, hold up. The 4 years in the future,
right,
from the end of the last game. 4 years.
So
have
they've
passed.
been living in Jackson, which is the little town at the end of the first one, right? Little. Yeah, it's not exactly little, but
It's pretty large.
It's very large. Hundreds of people, maybe.
Lots of people.
Yeah.
But then some stuff happens, and we meet Abby. And Abby is the other person, new character, new to the game,
Totally
never before
new.
seen, not in the first game, nothing. And she is like right outside on the outskirts of Jackson, and she's like, "He's here. We need to get him."
Right.
And you're like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And then you play as Abby for a little bit, and she gets in a bunch of trouble. Joel comes in, saves her. You're like, "Joel, you're the man. Let's go, Joel." And
Right.
then they're all chilling together, and Joel's like, "Yo, I'm Joel. This is my brother Tommy." And she's like, "Oh my god." And then she's like, "You know what?" And she whips out a shotgun, shoots Joel in the leg, clubs him in the face with a golf club, right in front of Ellie.
Yep.
And Joel, the main character from the first game, is now no longer alive.
He is now spaghetti. And that was the first major thing that leaked, was the death of Joel. And people didn't know when that happened in the game. Like, the timeline was not clear, but people were like, oh, this new character kills Joel with a golf club at some point in the game. It turns out it's like the first hour.
It's right at the beginning.
Yeah. Which I guess is good. I guess that's good in terms of dealing with the leak. Instead of having to wait the whole game knowing it happens right off the bat,
Right,
so you can kind of get it over with.
Good.
You know?
Yeah, and then the first half of the game is Ellie looking for Abby, searching for revenge, obviously, for
It's a
Joel.
revenge quest.
And then halfway through, big switch up, then you play as Abby, and you kind of see her part of the story, what her motivation was to kill Joel, and everything that happened to her up until this climactic moment in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a little bit more after that is very interesting, I think.
What is it?
Right.
What are you
I guess
doing?
I guess we are spoiling it.
Yeah.
So they meet up in the theater or whatever,
Mm.
and they have a big showdown. And Abby spares Ellie again. This is the second time
Yes, it is the
that
second
she
time.
didn't kill Ellie the first time because she only wanted to kill Joel. She spares Ellie again, and then she's like, don't let me ever see you again or whatever, and she leaves with Lev. And then it fast forwards again. How long is it? I can't remember.
Oh, it's not very... Is it?
Might
I
be
can't
like
remember.
a couple years.
It might be a couple. It might even be just one.
Oh, yeah, because Dina has the baby.
Yes, yeah.
And then Ellie and Dina are chilling in this cute little farm with the baby. And then Tommy comes in. He's like, yo, 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 I know where Abby is, Ellie. You should totally still go kill her because, she killed Joel, so we still need to get revenge. And Ellie's like, I don't know. And then she eventually comes through and is like, all right, fine, I'll do it. Dina's super pissed about it. Ellie's like, I don't really care. So she goes. And then to Santa Barbara, which is where we believe Abby is. Abby gets captured by the Rattlers.
Mm-hmm.
Very nasty group of people that do very bad things.
But they seem kind of like idiots, which was very strange to me. I was like, what a bunch of idiots. And then they're like
dumb.
super awful people. Like, they were very accomplished in how awful they were.
Yeah,
Which is surprising to me.
I would agree. And then, so Ellie gets there. She meets the Rattlers. She kills a whole bunch of them. She finds Abby, who's like tied up on this pole with like her arms up here. And she's totally just she's does not look anything like she does throughout most of the game. She's
emaciated. The muscle mass is way down.
Yeah, she's super messed up. Her and Lev. Ellie cuts her down. They run to some boats, and then Ellie's like, yo, I can't let you go. And Abby's like, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me go. Ellie's like, nah, dude, we got to fight. She's like, fine, okay, whatever. They have a pretty epic fight in the shallow part of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And Ellie
wins, kind of. She wins. She's holding Abby underneath the water. She's drowning her for a very long time.
Yeah, for a while.
And then she gets very upset and she lets go. She sits down. She's like, you know what? Go. And then that's basically the end of the game. She goes back to her town, or not the town, her house with Dina. Dina's not there. She's like, dang, Dina's not here. Then she like plays the guitar and then she leaves. Oh, she gets 2 of her fingers bitten off too in the fight.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of important.
That is kind of important because now she can no longer play the guitar as good as she used to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Joel taught her how to play the guitar.
And that's the game.
And that's the game. Ellie, so what you didn't mention is that half the game you play as Ellie, half the game you play as Abby.
Right.
Ellie's part of the game is pretty much good all the way through. All the times you're playing as Ellie, there's no like bad parts. Abby, on the other hand, her the first part, when you first switch, that first section of the game, which is probably like 3 hours of the game.
It's pretty long, yeah. Not good.
Really, like, bad. Like, really bad, actually.
Really not good. Did not like that part at all.
And then it picks up in her later stuff. It definitely picks up for her, and it gets a lot more fun.
Yeah, her second and third part, I think, are actually pretty good. I really enjoyed the ending of the third part.
Yeah.
With the island.
Mm-hmm. I think the major problem that this game has is like its pacing and stuff.
Yes.
Like it, and even like the ordering of some of the story stuff. The pacing. There's parts of the game where when you're playing as Abby, it's all flashback.
Yes.
It's all flashback to like the 3 days before her and Ellie confront each other for the second time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And in those scenes, there are more flashbacks that you get playing. So it's like a flashback in a flashback.
Dude, I literally forgot about those.
Right. And if the flashbacks were just cutscenes, they wouldn't be so bad. But they're like extended gameplay, like puzzle. Like there's like, the platforming like puzzles that you do trying to like traverse through the environment that are kind of long. And then at the end of it, your reward is a cutscene that you already like knew about. You're just seeing it from like a different angle in the room. Like, it's a lot of that stuff is like you're playing and you don't really see the point at the time. You're like, I already know all this information. I don't care to actually like, oh, he saved a zebra. Okay. I get it. Yeah. He's cool. Whatever. So yeah, Abby stuff, a lot of those flashbacks, not the best, I would say.
Yeah. And if the game was like literally in order, in chronological
order,
it would probably be a lot better.
Right, exactly.
I still like the game. I want to let everyone know that I do like the game.
Yeah, it is a good game overall.
Yeah, it's not like some terrible, horrible disservice.
Not a
to the first
3.2
game
or whatever it used to be.
Whatever people are doing. It's a good game. But it's just, I would say like the biggest problem is the way they tell the story in this non-linear way.
Right.
Really drags it down.
It really, really does. So how would you have like ordered it then?
I would do like almost completely chronological. This scene at the end, the very, very last cutscene.
Right, I remember. With
Ellie and Joel, I would still save that for the end.
Yeah, that's a good end.
But everything else, I think I would put exactly in order.
Yeah.
Because in the first part, when you play as Ellie, you kill like all of Abby's friends. Mm-hmm. And then when you start playing as Abby, then you actually get to meet them. Like, you don't even know who they are before. And then you meet them, and you're like, well, I don't care because I already killed them.
Yeah, it's very hard to make an emotional connection with these characters because you literally just saw them, like, get their brains blown out or get choked to death or beat with a pipe or whatever, Right. So when you're seeing these characters, it's kind of tough. But there is an upside, though, because there is one character who... There are two characters.
Two characters.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. There's one character that you like to see because you can't wait till he dies because he's the worst monster that the Last of Us universe has ever created. Owen guys, is the worst. Owen is so bad, and he's like Abby's love interest. Ugh. And man, is he the worst. Like, I no offense to the voice actor, but I hate everything about this character, including his voice. Not his performance necessarily, but like this guy does not vibe with me. He seems like the kind of guy that would like buy a high school girl like alcohol like outside of a gas station. Like, he'd sit there and she'd be like, hey, I forgot my ID. Can he be like, sure, can I come like with you to drink this alcohol, little girl? But I did not like that guy at all.
He sucks.
And he like lasts the longest.
I know, and he doesn't even get it that good at the end. She just like shoots him in the chest.
Yeah,
it should have been a lot worse. Should have been like
what happened to Alice should have happened to Owen.
Okay, well, maybe not. Alice was just an innocent puppy.
Well, I said, but what happened to Alice should have happened to Owen. What happened to Owen should have happened to Alice. Should have been quick for Alice. Should have been slow for Owen. Slowin'.
Slowin'.
More like no in. I hate him, guys. I
He
hate him
sucks
so much.
Anti-Owen podcast.
He just brings down every single part of Abby's. Whenever he's on screen, Abby's part of the game is worse.
He's so annoying.
He's just very annoying, and I hate him. And that's the podcast. That's where we're gonna wrap it up there.
That's it, everybody.
We hate Owen here. No, there are two characters though that we're gonna talk about, and who are they?
Lev and Yara.
Yara, isn't that the Greyjoy?
Yara Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. She crossed over the narrow sea.
That's
and
what.
came to
What's
USA.
west of Westeros is The Last of Us Part 2.
Exactly. Duh.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin actually did a wonderful time foreshadowing that.
I know. Incredible.
Anyway, Yara and Lev, they're part of a separate group from the Rattlers or the WLF, which is Abby's, or the Jackson people. They're the Scars or the Seraphites, and they're like religious zealots, basically, they're pretty messed up. They're kind of,
They do a lot of bad things.
just think about like what cultists would be in like this scenario, and yeah, that's what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they're not good. But Abby comes across Yara and Lev, who are trying to kind of escape them,
Yeah,
and they seem like decent people. I mean, they're, they don't do anything bad. They
right.
save Abby's life, literally,
Mm-hmm.
because Abby's like strung up or whatever, like hanging upside down or whatever from a rope.
Well, Abby does kind of save Yara's right before that, or she helps Yara save herself.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
because Yara gets her arm all...
So they're
Mangled.
allies by like survival by need.
Right.
At first.
And then they grow together, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the best.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Lev is the trans character in the game.
Right. Not Abby. It's Lev.
It's not Abby, it's
Yeah.
Lev. Who's like the best.
Lev is very, very cool, and I like Lev a lot.
Yeah.
Even though this might be a little weird to say,
What?
but I don't think it's a mistake that the best character in the game is the trans character. I think they had the best character in the game. Like, I don't know if that was like from the... What am I trying to say? I'm saying that because it's the trans character, they were like, we have to make this character really good,
Right.
So they got a lot of focus, which is fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just saying that
Yeah,
that's...
he rocks.
Yeah.
He looks like
awesome.
Aang,
He does look
the last
like Aang.
Airbender. Like, it's striking. First saw him, I was like, yo, look, it's Aang.
And then it was Aang. Well, it wasn't Aang, but may as well be. If Aang used a bow and arrow, it's Aang.
literally. I mean, he can almost airbend. He's like hopping around.
Yeah, he does like cool acrobatics and
things.
stuff. It's very
He's super cool. And he makes it all the way to the end of the game. He lives.
Yeah,
That's the
can't
best
wait
part. He's like the only
till
person that lives.
He gets killed brutally in Last of Us Part 3.
That'll be the beginning.
That'll be the beginning. Is
They'll-
they'll just kill
Elio
Lev's-
Golf Club Lev.
Right, and be like, I changed my mind. Again.
And
Elio.
Yara dies, sadly.
Yeah, Yara dies, but she gets to live without an arm for a little bit, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, she gets her arm chopped off. That was a moment.
Yeah, this game it's kind of where I think the first game was more good, like baseline, This game is a lot more up and down.
Right,
it has
it's
really
a-
good moments and really bad moments.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, it does.
where the first game was more like a solid throughout the whole time with ups and downs still, but
like, yeah.
this one was a lot more dynamic in quality, I would say.
Yeah, you'd go from like a terrible scene with Owen, and then you'd be like riding a horse through a flaming village, like
Right.
shooting people while you're
Through
on the
a
horse.
Harada estate.
Yeah, in Sekiro. Yeah, like that. All that mission was good.
Yeah, that's a good mission.
But yeah, so Last of Us 2. Anything else really? I don't know if I have too much more to say.
I think that the decisions that they made weren't necessarily like story-wise, whatever, like killing Joel, blah, 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 all that. They weren't necessarily bad decisions at all. I do think that I'll be real, this game kind of feels at times like a setup for a third game,
Right.
in a weird way. Like it does feel really intermediary at points. We'll see the third game to see if it's like a really good trilogy,
for sure.
because it could be, because I'm like 99.9% sure that the trilogy was what they had in mind, and that they're doing one. And I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 sold like 4 million in 3 days,
Yep, it's the fastest selling PlayStation game ever.
so it makes sense, right, with all this hate around it. 3.2.
I know.
It's
Everyone's like, this game sucks. I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah.
It's the best selling game ever. Okay.
But there were just points where I was like, well, I need to see the third one to see if the choices made in this one were worth it or
Right,
not. You
yeah.
know? And in a lot of ways, too, I think this game would have also been received better if it was The Last of Us Part 1, if that makes sense. If The Last of Us Part 1 just included this game, like Last of Us Part 1 didn't stop, it just did a time skip and you just kept playing.
Oh,
I feel like it would have been way more well received, you know? Because it would have just been like a story beat, you know? It wouldn't be like, oh, the guy from the first game, we get to a whole nother game with him. It would just be like, oh, wasn't it crazy when Joel died halfway through, like out of nowhere? You know, it'd be a little bit of a different conversation, I think.
Right, yeah.
And it feels like that because it does start off pretty, not fast, but it starts off right where it leaves off, you know? Well, I mean, after the time skip, but
Right, yeah.
nothing, like, basically they're like, yeah, nothing happened for 4 years is kind of what they say, you know? It was relative
they're just
peace and happiness.
building the Jackson or whatever.
Right. So, you know, I would say definitely not as good as the first, but are you going to rate it? What are you doing?
I would say it's solid. I gave it an 8 on IMDb.
Sure.
I enjoyed it pretty well. There's just obviously the few parts. If the story was in a different order, I think it would actually be pretty like really good.
Yeah.
And then obviously the few missions that are just not very interesting or great. But it also, you know, it has super incredible set piece moments that you're like, whoa, this is so cool. So yeah, I really liked it. What are you gonna do about it?
I'd probably give it a 7, but I didn't get to play it all, so
Right.
I didn't get to experience the gameplay.
That's actually one thing I want to talk about. It's not like a down grade, but I feel like they maybe could have done a little bit more with the gameplay because it is very, very similar to the first game. They do like a few little like quality of life tweaks and changes to it, but other than that, it's like basically exactly the same. So maybe they could have done a little more than, oh look, you can go prone now.
Right. Prone.
Look, you can go prone and you can crawl through the grass.
Yeah, they were pushing that super hard, weren't they? Yeah, I guess there could have been. If I had to say one thing, it's guys, if you're playing the game, get the explosive arrows and abuse them.
Yes, we made the huge mistake of not using the explosive arrows until like the end.
Yeah.
They are the most fun thing ever.
Which is so messed up because part of this game, it feels like it kind of wants you to feel bad for killing people because when you kill someone, people will be like, they killed Ethan or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like, they got Bob, you know?
I don't care.
The explosive arrows, when you shoot it
up
on a person and they fly into a bunch of tiny bits, it's awesome.
We're not crazy.
We're not crazy,
fun.
but it is crazy. So they explode in like a pile of paste, and then someone's like, Vera! And you're like, oh, wow.
Sorry,
okay.
Vera. My bad.
It's still rough doing it to dogs, though.
Well, I never...
You never exploded a dog, but just killing dogs in general.
Yeah, you have to kill at least one dog.
Yeah, I did think it was weird how they made Abby hate dogs and torture them. That was a little weird choice to me.
Yeah.
She threw that poor dog's ball way outside of its cage.
Right, it was her. It was definitely not me.
It was definitely not a player choice moment. Awful woman.
What a disgusting woman.
Very last thing I have to say about the game, about Abby specifically, is that the one thing I can say is Abby has been a great motivation to work out and get my arms huge.
Dude,
because she is
dunks
jacked.
on some people. She dunks on some people. She like one hits infected.
Oh yeah, there's times where she does that. I mean, she has a whole upgrade branch that is like close quarters.
Yeah, she just right hooks an infected and they just go down. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, works for her. Works for me.
Hey, we like The Last of Us 2. What are you going to do about it?
Please do nothing about it. Don't it's our opinion. Just
viciously attack us in the comments.
You could do that. Tweet at us. What's your Twitter?
It should be like right here or something.
Well, audio podcast.
Oh, the podcast Twitter?
No, this is an audio podcast. There is no video in its last form. So say your Twitter handle.
At Nictionary.
_Nictionary.
_Nictionary, right.
Anyway, moving on. Was that all you had for your week?
Yeah. I didn't really do anything else. So, yeah, that was it. I'm Dunzo. Dunzo badunzo.
I had a few things going on. I watched The Jinx, which was a limited series docuseries from 2015, and it's about this guy Robert Durst, I think his name is. I watched it like Sunday after the show last episode, and it is about a guy who was involved with his wife went missing like in the 80s or something, and it was a big mystery. And then there was going to be like the case was like reopened, and there was like new evidence, and like someone's going to say it, a friend of his, the police were going to talk to her, and then that friend of his gets murdered. And so they look like, where was Robert Durst? Or like, oh, he was in like he's from New York. There was like, oh, he was in California where his friend lives when she was murdered. And they were like, Robert, what's up with that? And he's like, oh, California's a big state, you know. I just happened to be there for I happened to be there for 2 days within the 2 days that she was murdered. You know, it's a big state. Yeah. And then a bunch of people just die around him, and he has really good lawyers. He's from like a really rich family in New York, so he just keeps getting away with it. I think he allegedly kills like 4 people, including like a roommate. It's like, oh, your roommate died while you lived with him for the very short amount of time that you lived with him? And it's like, yeah, things happen, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
And so all this happens, and I'm giving you the very short version. The ending is they're doing a final interview with him, and he is mic'd up, and they come with this evidence where they're like, hey, this is a letter that was found in the house, or that was sent to the police saying where the body of your dead friend was. And he's like, yeah, that's it. And like, here's a letter that you wrote to your friend, and the handwriting is the exact same. And he's like, yeah.
Forgery.
And he freaks out. And so he's like, they finish the interview, and he's like, oh, can I go to the bathroom? And they're like, sure. So he walks in the bathroom, and he's still mic'd up. And he goes to the bathroom, and he's mumbling to himself. And he's like, what the hell did I do? And he goes, kill them all, of course. What have I done now? Or whatever, you know? So he basically admits to it on recording.
Okay, good.
And that's where it ends, because it's still going on. And it's something that I kind of want to bring up, is that there's a weird moral thing you have to decide when you're a documentary maker, where it's like, where do you draw the line between entertainment and then like justice? Mm-hmm. You know, because like you're sitting in front of a person who has allegedly killed like 4 to 5 people, I think. And the show has gotten in the way now of justice if he has murdered those people, which, I mean, it really does seem like he did. Just
yeah.
Because his ramblings at the end in the bathroom where he says that he killed them all,
right,
were taken out of order. You know, it was edited, because of course when you edit something you have to edit it down. Right. But because they were edited in a different order, like, you know, they're fighting like, oh, this can't be used as evidence because it's not indicative of what he actually meant, you know, because it's not his words verbatim, so it can't be used as evidence or whatever. Because if someone just strung along words that you said, you know, they can make you say anything. Even though this was full phrases, they just happened to shorten them a little bit. It's getting away, and I'm pretty sure he's still like waiting to be on trial and everything because of coronavirus. I think it's got like his trial's delayed or whatever. Right. Yeah. But they're basically saying like a jury, they can't have seen the show to be on the jury, you know, because it'll alter their perspective. And it's just the thing where it's like, when you think of like Tiger King as well, it's like you want views. Obviously, you're a creator, you know, you want people to watch your stuff, but like, where do you draw the line where like we can't make the show as good as we want it to be because we want justice, we want good things to happen. It's a thing that you have to decide for yourself. And I feel like a lot of people make the wrong choice. Like, I think they made the wrong choice, and maybe they didn't know, but maybe they didn't have a lawyer that they were talking to about it. But definitely it seems like something you should think about when you're trying to not avenge, but just get justice for 4 dead people, like real life people who were murdered by this man, allegedly. Yeah. You know, I think it's a little irresponsible to sensationalize it when it gets in the way of justice, but that's just me.
Interesting.
Other than that, I watched a movie that I've been recommended for a very long time by a good friend, and that's The Hunt from 2012 with Mads Mikkelsen. Oh. And it's the first movie I watched where he was playing a character that wasn't super, like, threatening, I guess. Oh, okay. Usually he's like a villain or he's like a real tough guy. Sure. You know, in this one, he's just like a nice kindergarten teacher. You know, he's just like, oh, he loves the kids, he plays with them. Basically, what happens in this one is that he, one of the kids gets a crush on him, one of the little kindergartners. Okay. And he's like, hey, she like gives him a kiss or whatever, and he's like, hey, you can't do that. I'm an adult. You need to kiss your mom or dad. You can't kiss me or whatever. Right. And she like freaks out, and she goes to the kindergarten teacher, and he's like, he raped me. or okay, she's like a kindergarten, so she doesn't say that, but she like heard stuff, you know, just like passing or whatever, and she's like, yeah, I saw his penis, and she's the kindergarten teacher's like, what? And so basically, he gets fired. The word gets around town. It's about this whole, and he didn't do it. Just to be clear,
Right?
like he obviously didn't do it. You're following it from his perspective, and the whole town kind of comes on him. They start like, they kill his dog. They throw
What?
shit at his house and everything because they're like, you raped this like 6-year-old, like you disgusting man. And obviously he's like, I didn't do it. The only person who saw it was the little girl. But they're all like, kids don't lie about things like this. So his whole life is being ruined. Because this whole small town is turning on him, being like, we'll kill you, blah, blah, blah. You need to get out of here, whatever. And he's like, I've lived here. I'm good. I'm going to chill. But luckily, in the end, it gets to
He goes John Wick on him.
Yeah, exactly. No, it does get to a point where the little girl's like, guys, I lied. I was totally lying. And because she still likes him. And she was just a stupid kid who like made a mistake. She's 6 or something. She might be less than 6.
Right.
And she's like, I totally lied. That was just something I heard. I didn't do that or whatever. And everyone's like, it's okay. He can't hurt you anymore. And she's like, bitch, no, listen. And they're like, no, it's okay. Like, it's good that you told the truth. And she's like, okay, I guess I can't do anything. So even when she's trying to like fix the situation as a baby, you know, obviously that doesn't help.
Jeez.
But it ends with a lot of the children coming forward with allegations. Like basically a ton of the children are like, yeah, I saw his pee-pee. He made me touch it and everything. And all the kids are like spreading rumors and everything amongst themselves. And all the parents are freaking out. He's like, he raped them all or whatever. And then they tell the stories. It's like, oh yeah, where did it happen? They're all like, he took us to his basement. They're all like, yeah, it happened in the basement. So they raid his house, whatever. And there's no basement. Those they're like, oh, maybe they were making it up.
What the fuck?
You know? It's a very, and this guy, I mean, he's getting like beat up in the grocery store. He's like freaks out in the church, and he's like, why do all you people hate me or whatever? And it ends, they all patch it up. It like does a time skip. It's all patched up and everything's back to normal. And it's like good. And it's like a happy ending, except
his dog got murdered.
His dog got murdered, and right at the end, someone tries to shoot him with a gun and then runs away. So it's basically saying like, yeah, no matter what, he's always going to be hunted for the rest of his life because a little girl told a lie. And but it's a good ending. I thought it was really good. The ending I was afraid of, because he's walking out the woods hunting, you know? The ending I was afraid of was that he was going to open a trap door to like a rape dungeon. And it was all going to be true. So I'm really glad that didn't happen. But yeah, he gets shot at and he lives, but the guy like runs away, and it's like, oh, this is just his life now. He has to deal with that. He's going to be a target. He's going to be hunted. You know, but very good from Mads Mikkelsen. I was very impressed.
Dang, that sounds crazy. I might have to check that out.
Yeah. I got one more, which I wasn't watching for the LGBT thing. It's just been on my list for a long time, and that was, how do you pronounce this, by the way? Y
Tu Mama Tambien.
Y Tu Mama Tambien, which is Cuarón.
Yeah,
movie.
I think it's the only one I haven't seen from.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen this one.
This movie is a lot like its protagonists in certain ways. It is oftentimes, it's very gratuitous. It's very sexy. There's a lot of sex. It's a lot of young or like older teenage boys having sex a lot with like their girlfriends. And then like whoever, and like jacking off, and there's a lot of sex in it.
Okay.
And they're kind of loud. They're kind of obnoxious. They're, you know, kind of stupid a little bit.
Yeah.
And the movie can come off that way if you just watch it on a surface level and you don't really think about it, because as the characters are, obviously they're actual people, they have a depth of emotions of what they feel and everything. Right. The movie itself on the surface can appear a little superfluous, but when you dig a little deeper, you can see the world around them is kind of similar to the characters themselves, you know, loud, but with a lot of depth behind it. It's something that I definitely want to watch again to kind of get the full breadth of what's going on, because the background of where they're having their stupid conversations is like a character itself, you know? So they're just talking about like fucking chicks or whatever. It's like, oh, I do it doggy, blah, blah, blah. And then like the police are like carrying off protesters in the background. And I'm like, what does this mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's something that I need to watch again to get the full understanding of. But I didn't know this, and I didn't do this on purpose, but there's a gay kiss in it. And I was like, oh, well, how about that? It just happens to happen in this movie. I was
right.
like, oh, okay. There's a one person in their like little group happened to be gay, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a nice surprise. I didn't know that going in. But yeah, it was pretty good. I don't want to give a full thing on it until I watch it again, because it's definitely one that deserves a second watch.
Right.
But overall, I did enjoy it. Not his best, but
Not Children of Men.
Not Children of Men, sure. But yeah, that about does it for my week.
Cool. Hey,
good weeks.
you know what time it is.
You know, it's time for news. And last week we talked about Spike Lee, so why don't we start up with Spike Lee again? Which is a little tidbit that Spike Lee said that his what?
No, I was just saying. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
I thought you were like saying we skipped something.
No.
Spike Lee
Sorry.
says his no de-aging saved his movie To Five Bloods probably $100 million. And he also went on to say that
that's a lot.
If he had that extra budget, the movie probably would have never got made. He probably never would have been able to find that money.
Yeah.
So if he had decided to do that, it probably wouldn't have happened. And yeah, like we said last episode, it was fine. You know, I didn't think it impeded my enjoyment of the movie at all.
Yeah, no. I
You
was
know?
chilling with it for sure.
Because you said
I
something.
actually liked it.
Yeah, exactly. I liked it because it wasn't. Otherwise, it's distracting if it's done poorly, and if you use other actors, it's kind of disservice to the main actors, you know, or whatever. But I thought everyone did a good job, and I thought it was a good decision. I hope more people do it, you know, and stop doing de-aging as
You don't
much.
need to spend $100 million for some VFX artists to work their ass off.
Right,
just
exactly.
to make somebody look younger.
Anyway, Witcher Season 2 resumes filming, finally.
Ooh, The Witcher.
Looking for a 2021 release.
Hey.
Witcher Season 2, Witcher Season 1 was pretty good.
Yeah, I
You know?
liked it.
I did like it, but there was something weird about it that, like, there's something I couldn't put my finger on about that show. I don't know what it was. I still liked it, but maybe it was just because it wasn't the games and I was so used to the games. It could have been that. Maybe it was like it needed a little bit more budget, which maybe we'll see in Season 2, you know? Or maybe it was because, like, he didn't use the signs as much as I wanted him to.
You, like, 2 times.
Right, exactly.
Like, 2 times, yeah.
Maybe I'd like to see a little bit more of that. But overall, still a very good show, and Season 2 is exciting. Who knows what stories they're going to do? I'm pretty sure they're all together at the end of Season 1, right? Or wait.
No,
No.
Geralt and Ciri are together. They, like, meet up, and that's the end.
Yeah, that is the end. So I assume Ciri's probably going to be the one taking on the more central role in a way.
Probably.
Because the stories are about her, just kind of from Geralt's perspective mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, I know that they're doing, I believe it's connected to the TV show. Not that I guess it would matter that much, but they're doing an animated movie with Vesemir, which is Geralt's like Witcher master.
A movie?
Animated. I believe it's an animated movie, or is it a series? Did you see?
No, this is all new to me.
I think it was an animated movie. It's about Vesemir, his tutor, and you know,
Vesemir.
that's probably going to come out 2021 too. I imagine might be before season.
You know
2.
what kind of animation? Is it like 2D, like kind of like anime style, or is it more like a?
I don't know
3D.
I don't think it's 3D, just because that would be very surprising to me.
Right. Yeah.
I think, but. Well, maybe I can find
Well, like
here.
3D, like Clone Wars 3D.
Oh, like Clone Wars 3D? I don't know. Maybe. I would imagine that it would be more of a anime thing like that Cyberpunk thing. What was that about?
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
They're making, I forget what it's called. It's like Cyberpunk the game. Cyberpunk 2077 the game is also making a standalone anime that will take place in Night City, which is where the game takes place.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called, I want to say Skyrunners, but I think that's wrong.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know.
It's something like that. But it's not supposed to come out to like 2022, so who cares?
Right.
But it's very exciting, and I will watch it when it comes out.
Well, I don't know if this is enough for you, but it's going to be animated by Studio Mir, which did Legend of Korra. So it could be Legend of Korra. Well, probably.
Yeah, right.
But they could change
Korra
it
has
up.
cool animation. So.
Korra is very cool animation. I liked it. And they're probably going to do season 3. I know that they say they have enough plans for, they said they could do like up to 7 seasons.
Right.
You know, because there's a ton of stuff to pull from.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so-
don't know too much, but yeah, I know there's a lot.
There's plenty of books, and then there's the games as well. So there's plenty of stuff for them to pull from.
Cool.
Peter Jackson's visual effects company launches an animation division. Speaking of animation,
Ooh.
so they have Weta Digital as his company, and
Yeah,
now
Weta.
they're starting Weta Animated, which is going to be doing their own totally by themselves, productions. They have done effects on like the Avatar
they're
movies.
like the big
Lord of the Rings, Avengers movies, Game of Thrones. So they
are the dudes.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. So to find out that they're going to be doing their totally own productions, their own movies and everything, I think that is very exciting.
That's cool. Interesting.
And right, animation division, it's going to be complete animation. It's not going to be, mixed. It's going to be completely 100% animated because most of the stuff they work on, it's added with human actors, but to be totally animated on its own, it could make it look a lot better. Because a lot of times, even though their effects look great, when you put it right up next to a real human, it can look a little weird. But if you do it all animated, you can really kind of fool yourself into thinking it looks super, super good,
Yeah.
So this is all very exciting to me.
That's cool.
Yeah. But in some not so good news, but I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
The Oscars were pushed back by 2 months. Boo-hoo. Whatever. Guys, it's good,
It means more movies can come out.
They should change the Oscar to have a little face mask on it.
For this year only.
For this year only.
That'd be cute.
Just add a little gold face mask. Like, here's your Oscar. Like,
that'd be cute. Yeah.
That would be cute.
I want for that.
They will be interesting. Like, what political speeches are people going to make? Like, Black Lives Matter is probably going to come back really strong.
Right.
Are people going to call people out with the pandemic? How people handled pandemic stuff?
I don't know. It's a while from now.
It is a while from now.
So we'll see.
Because we don't even know.
We'll see how everything goes.
Yeah, we don't even know what it's going to look like. Yeah.
It'll be interesting, though.
Yeah. Last week we talked about Hamilton, how it's coming out July 3rd. Check it out, you guys.
I know. I'm really excited.
A trailer dropped. I don't know if you watched it.
I did watch the trailer. Yes.
But here's the thing. Disney Plus's Hamilton got a PG-13 rating, which is a little interesting because in the show...
It's pretty explicit, right?
Yeah, and they drop a few F-bombs.
Yeah, I know that.
You can get one, and you can still be PG-13, if that's still the rule.
Right.
But there's multiple in this one, so it's wondering if it's been edited.
That would piss me off. I've never seen it live, so
right, exactly.
I was really excited for this.
It's unclear if it'll be edited, because there's nothing on Disney Plus that's R. It's
Disney.
Right, exactly. They're trying to keep it PG-13 and below. But I don't know. I hope that if they do change anything, they just take out the F words, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's still shitty.
I like it when he calls John Adams a fat motherfucker.
Yeah, right, yeah. But let's just hope that if they are changing it, that's all they change is the cursing and not like anything else, because that would be like a huge disservice to it.
Yeah.
So if all they change is the F word, okay, I can live with that.
Have you seen it?
I've not. What? No.
Oh, I thought you went and saw it one time.
I wish.
Yeah. But hey, now we'll all get to see it soon, hopefully.
You know what else I wish I've seen?
What?
Dune.
Same, though.
I want to see Dune so bad. Dune, Denis Villeneuve's new movie that's going to be coming out like Christmassy times.
I think it's like literally on Christmas.
Oh, really? What a great surprise.
That'll be my present, hopefully.
Right.
I can go to the movie.
Well, I know that they are heading back to, I want to say, Hungary to do some additional shooting,
Are they reshoots?
It's just an additional. So I don't know. But that happens with a lot of movies, especially big scale movies. It happens very often.
Yeah. Especially Dune.
Yeah, you're right. And what's interesting is that there's going to be an Inception re-release this July 17th, because Tenet got moved back a little bit.
Yes.
And at the Inception re-release, we will see the first look of footage from Dune.
What?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see, it's going to be like, how the Tenet trailer was with Hobbs and Shaw? So it's going to be a Dune trailer
the best moment of my life.
with Inception. So the Inception re-release, go see it, and you can see the first look at Dune.
I don't want to go to a movie theater right now, bro.
Well, I know. Maybe they'll do it on Fortnite.
It can't. You're telling me I'm going to have to download Fortnite just so I can see the Dune?
My question, do they have the masks in Fortnite? Do they have, I
don't know. Hopefully,
PPE
it gets pushed back and they just release it on YouTube. Hopefully, they're like, you know what? We can't release this in the movie theater.
Hopefully, someone a brave soul, gets a hazmat suit on and just records it on their phone in the movie theater. for the rest of us.
Maybe that'll be me.
Maybe no. You got a hazmat suit?
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
All right. Ben Stiller. He's a cool dude. I got a friend who knows Ben Stiller.
Like knows him?
Yeah, his name is Ben actually. And they text. I think that's pretty cool.
What?
Well, no, they're like business. They work together.
Oh.
But he's going to direct Oscar Isaac because, we're big Oscar Isaac fans here. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why that's become our identity somewhat.
We're just the Oscar Isaac stands.
Yeah, he's great. In Lionsgate's London, Eric Roth to adapt Joe Nesbo's story. And I'm just putting this here because we love Oscar Isaac. And Ben Stiller directing. London. Again, he directed like The Zoolanders and Tropic Thunder and Walter Mitty,
Yeah.
And I like... And he did The Cable Guy, I think, with Jim Carrey way back in the day.
Yeah.
I like actors who direct. I don't know why. I just always think it's super neat because I can really picture
it's always interesting.
I like seeing stuff like that.
As long as they're good.
As long as they're good. So, Ben, you better watch out.
It better be a good
better
movie.
be good.
I swear.
Last piece of news here. Well, actually, not last piece of news. I have one more after this. But Margot Robbie, who we've talked about.
We love Margot Robbie.
Not as much as Oscar Isaac.
Obviously.
But close second. Is gonna come for a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie for Disney. This movie with a Birds of Prey writer, and this movie is not it's different from the reboot that they're doing because they're planning a Pirates of the Caribbean reboot.
Oh,
and this is not that. This is it's like the Pirates of the Caribbean world, but just a totally different story. So it's like
no Jack Sparrow.
No Jack Sparrow, as far as I know.
I don't know if I'm on board anymore.
Well, I'm pretty sure Jack Sparrow's like done. Like he's never, because the reboot's happening and this is no Jack Sparrow, but it's gonna be Jill Sparrow with Margot Robbie. No, not Jill. That's a joke.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, well,
Jack and Jill.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Right, exactly. You wouldn't doubt it.
I would not doubt it.
But I don't know. I'd like to see Margot Robbie dressed as a pirate.
So is she the lead?
Yeah, I have to assume. Her and Christina Hodson, and I hope they have maybe they'll have like a girl pirate gang. Like it'll be a ship full of woman pirates.
Swashbucklers.
That'd be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope it's good.
Well, yeah, me too. I hope it's good too.
I'm a big Pirates of the Caribbean person. I don't know if anyone knew that, but I'm big on the pirate movies. I
All
even
of them?
like yes.
Oh.
Everyone be hating on like the fourth one and the fifth one.
I think the first
like
three
all of
are
them.
really solid. 4 and 5. I mean, they're entertaining, but I don't know if I'd call them like good. Like I'd call the first movie like a good movie. Second movie, I'd probably still call a good movie, and then third is where it drops off for me.
They're all good.
Well, good and
I like
entertaining
the fifth one
are-
and the fourth one
are two
they
different
can,
things.
Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, Javier Bardem.
That's the fifth one.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
That's when they're finding the rubies to do the thing. The
I
fifth
rem-
one's the worst one. Don't get me wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
But I still like it. Whatever.
All right.
People be hating.
Shout out Cube. The movie is on YouTube. Just so you guys know, it's a very good movie.
Okay.
Anyway, The Boys season 2. You watched The Boys season 1. You liked it.
The Boys. Yeah.
Boys season 2 is coming out in September.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Are you excited?
You know what else you can watch on Amazon Prime?
What's that?
The Expanse.
We still talking about that?
I talk about The Expanse at any given opportunity.
Fair enough. But yeah, coming in September should be good.
Exciting. Oh, you know what I heard about that?
What's that?
On the day it comes out. Excuse me.
Excused.
On the day it comes out, they're releasing like the first 3 episodes all at the same time.
Okay.
And then
Oh yeah, I think
every
I saw that.
week after that, there'll be one episode.
One episode. Interesting.
Every week, which is interesting. Just because like 3 episodes
Yeah,
is just like I can understand like 2.
Yeah, maybe it's
But 3 is just kind of maybe 3 is like really comes together nice.
Yeah.
As like a single piece.
if they're all like an hour long, that's pretty long though. It's like Irishman.
The episodes are really long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like The Boys. You should watch it.
You should watch The Boys, I guess. You showed me a few scenes and they're pretty cool. You know. The scene on the plane I actually really
If I
enjoyed.
talk about a plane or a dolphin and if you've seen The Boys, you know what I'm talking about.
And I know it even though I haven't seen it, but I've seen those parts.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it for news, but I can't help but notice that you never talked about how you're reading stuff.
What do you mean reading stuff?
You said you literally right before the show, you're like, "Oh, I can talk about how I'm almost done with Dune." And you're like, oh, and I'll talk all about it. And then
I'm
we
sorry.
did Dune, and then you just...
I forgot.
Okay.
Yes, Dune is really good. I was gonna say it when we were doing the. You were like, they're doing reshoots, and I was like, yeah, because it's Dune. And then I was gonna be like, it's a very intricate, plotted.
We'll just do it now.
Giant sprawling story. I don't know how much of the book Denis is planning on doing. He said he was gonna do 2 movies, so I don't know where he's gonna stop. But I'm pretty far. I'm about to start like the 3rd part of the book, which is like the last part. I'm like 500 pages in or something like that. It's really good.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm really liking it. I'm a huge sci-fi person.
Right, of course.
And just like the ideas, and this book is really old. It's from like the 60s, and like the ideas that he had, I was just like, wow, someone really thought of this like all this time ago. That's really cool. The worms, that's all I gotta say.
Right, of course, the worms.
The worms.
When you mentioned that, it's even though I'm not a big sci-fi fan, I guess this is because it's not, at this point, it's almost not sci-fi. One of my favorite books is A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, which was like written in the 1930s or something. I want to say like 38 maybe.
Yeah.
And it's about a future. I forget when it takes place, but it's about a future kind of like 1984 was. And where 1984 was like, oh, it's like the Big Brother is watching you and all that's very oppressive or whatever. Brave New World was kind of a society controlled by comfort, you know? So it would be like everyone's on drugs all the time. Everyone's got a ton of media that they're consuming all the time. You know, there's information out there, but there's so much that there's like too much and nobody cares to like look at it anymore, you know? They have like feelies instead of movies where you can actually like feel. So you can go to like a porn theater and actually like feel it.
Oh.
Everyone's having orgies all the time. It's a total decadent like society, you know? And I don't know. It is a little, you know, off the rails, of course. But I felt it was a little bit more similar to where we find ourselves now than 1984. But maybe that's naive. I don't know. Maybe.
Interesting. I don't know.
If you've seen it, I'd love to talk to somebody about that. You can totally tweet at me and talk about that at MervillianYT. But yeah. So about Dune, yeah, sure.
Oh no, you say your thing first.
Well, it was about
Dune.
I was going to ask you to continue.
Oh, okay, yes. The one thing that I kind of like is I started reading after they were like, yo, Denis gonna make Dune. And I was like, yo, he's my favorite director. You know, maybe I should read it. Is I know like the cast. I know that Timothy Chalamet is gonna be Paul Atreides. So like when I'm reading the book, obviously I haven't seen the movie, so I can't like picture it, but I can be like, yo, this is Timothy Chalamet walking through the desert.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I don't know. I just kind of think that's funny.
Yeah. You don't think that robs you of the experience of picturing your own character?
No.
Okay.
I mean, who doesn't want to picture Timothy Chalamet?
I guess that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And the other thing, I don't want to say I'm like nervous about it for the adaptation, but one thing that I really hope that Denis hits home is how important water is in this story.
Definitely.
It's like literally like more precious than like anything.
Right,
it is like the single most important thing on the entire planet. Like I just hope he hammers it home.
Yeah, sure. We still have to watch the Lynch one at some point.
And well, I'm gonna watch there's
the
like
TV
a mini series one of it.
I don't know if I'll watch that. Unless you say it's good, then I'll watch it.
I will. Apparently none of them are. So
right, exactly. Apparently this is gonna be the first good one.
We'll see what happens. Because he's only doing half the book.
Right. So that's what I think Lynch wanted to do, but they were like, nah, and he was like, okay.
That makes sense. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. So about it, it's mostly the ideas, not necessarily like the characters, but it's like the world building and just like the sci-fi ideas. Is there like character writing that you really like, or is it all like just the sci-fi notions?
No, there's really interesting. There's people. I don't want to go like I don't want to get like spoilery, but there's people that are called. There's Lady Jessica, who is, I don't know how to really pronounce it, but I'm gonna say Bean Gesserit. Okay. I don't know if that's right.
Okay, right, yeah.
But they're like a group of women who are like super like hyper intelligent people who can like analyze any situation like all the way down to like extremely minute things, and they can like make themselves do things like they're in a high intensity situation.
Mhm.
They can like use their training or whatever, and, like force themselves to be like super calm and collected.
Oh, okay.
I think that's really interesting, and they also have that for men. I'm trying to think of what it's called. I can't remember, but it's like the same thing, and it's really cool. I'm very much enjoying it.
So it is mostly the concepts.
Yes.
All right, cool. No, that's good. With sci-fi, that's kind of like your main thing.
Yeah.
That you want is good concepts.
Mm-hmm.
So there, yeah, cool. I have no thoughts on Dune because I haven't read it, but I like their look.
It's good.
Can't wait for the footage.
I know. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Hopefully it isn't Fortnite.
Right, Fortnite. Come on, like if there was anything, just give us a little Dune footage. Add the worms to Fortnite.
Yo, that would. You don't want to do that. It would be game over.
No, but they only exist outside the Ring of Fire or whatever. Anyway, let's move on to our spotlight. I think it's about time that we move on over to LGBTQ plus.
LGBTQ
plus. And we're just gonna be doing a top 5, or at least for me, it's kind of a top 6 of
whatever. It doesn't matter.
LGBT films. And just to be clear, these are more specifically films directly relating to not films that just happen to have a gay character, but where like gay characters are more like the focal point.
Yes.
You know, not like Scott Pilgrim, where like his roommate is gay, but like okay,
Right. Otherwise, obviously, Scott Pilgrim would be number 1.
right, of course. So we just had to level the playing field a little bit. So why don't you start us out with your number 5 pick?
My numero 5 is Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Yes. You guys remember Moonlight?
Yeah,
It won Best Picture.
it did. Or did it? It did.
It won very interestingly. Do you have Moonlight on your list?
I do have Moonlight on my list.
What number?
I have it at number 3.
Ooh, dang. Sorry.
Well,
Didn't know you felt that
here's
way.
the thing. You didn't rewatch Moonlight, did you?
I have still only seen it the one time. I remember I like restarted it one time, but I had to stop because I did do something.
When we first watched, we saw it in the theater together.
We did.
With a group of friends actually, and everybody came to the same consensus that the first 2 acts were really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And then the third act was really not so good. And I still felt that way until I rewatched it. And watching the end, maybe it was just because my expectations were that it was so bad. It was still not great.
Yeah.
But I was expecting it to be like, oh, this is going to be really, really tough. It was fine. At the end of the day, it was fine. It's just that the rest of the movie was so good that it happened to just be fine,
It's just fine. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
But the movie as a
rewatched it.
whole, when you have great, great, fine, is still
Good.
good to great,
It's
Good plus.
Good rate.
Good rate. Yeah.
Or good.
Yeah. But Moonlight is about it's your pick for 5, so why don't you start?
Okay. It's about Chiron. He's a kid.
/little/black.
Yeah. It's chronicles his life from when he's a child, and then a teenager, and then an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a gay black man growing up in Miami, I think is where the movie's placed. Don't know if that's 100% correct.
Somewhere.
But it's literally basically chronicles his life throughout all that time and, his experience.
Yeah, exactly. With his mother who, was in and out of drug abuse throughout his life, no father figure.
Right, yeah, no dad.
Well, no father. There's a father figure.
Right, yeah. Marshmallow
a la mode. Mahershala Ali, who is, he's really good in the little bit that he's in the movie. Let's be
he's
real.
really not in it.
He's really not in it
30
at all.
minutes.
But his scene is one of the most memorable for me.
Which one?
At the dinner table and selling to the mom. Those are like the 2 most memorable scenes.
You gonna raise him?
You gonna raise him? Oh, we were saying that. We were just reciting that.
Very quotable movie.
Very quotable movie, which is a great sign. Barry Jenkins directed, who is straight, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's straight. That's fine. Whatever. He accomplished it the pretty well, I would say.
Yeah.
I really liked. Honestly, my favorite part of the movie, besides Mahershala, was not the gay stuff, but his connection to his mom. Because in gay movies, most of the part where you'd see the conflict would be like a mom not accepting the homosexuality or whatever.
Right.
but really that like barely even comes up. Not because she's okay with it, just because there's other shit going on that needs to be addressed, you know.
On.
So I thought like his connection to his mom was really well done in that movie. It was my favorite part of it. Yeah.
I really enjoy the second part and his friendship with, I can't remember his name. You know his name?
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
I like the dynamic of he obviously likes him and he kind of likes him too, but he's like, no, like he's very like, I can't do this because everyone's gonna hate me or whatever. Especially obviously with the scene where they're like beat the shit out of him and he's like, okay, I'll do it, and he keeps on telling, he's like, stand down, Chiron, stand down.
Yeah,
but obviously Chiron's like,
stay down.
I don't want to,
because he's on the ground. He's saying stay down.
Right? Yeah, because he's getting punched in the face.
Yeah, and then obviously he comes back in the third part, and they kind of reconnect at the end of the movie.
Kind of,
you know, kind of.
Hey, I'd say they reconnect pretty good.
But it is a thing of like loneliness. Like Chiron is such a lonely character, you know. He'd only had one meaningful sexual interaction, or two by the end of it, you know. In his whole life, he's like in his 30s or something, or late 20s. But he's a grown man, and he's only had like two fulfilling sexual encounters, and so I think that helps understand his character when you put that into perspective for him. And of course, the image that like he can't really be all about it because that just won't work with everybody, you know.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That he's not in a position where he can be like that. The other thing I liked about this movie was the use of color. I thought the color was really well done in this movie. And I thought that, along with the color, that the movie was just pretty inventive. You know, they had like dreams. Yeah, the door. They had cool shots, stuff like that. They had like dream sequences in it, you know.
Yeah.
So I just really liked the direction they took it with that. It was very creative, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Me too.
All right.
Did not enjoy Beale Street though, I must say.
Guys, what? I don't. I mean,
it's not. We're not going to obviously, it's not the focus, but Barry Jenkins went on to make Beale Street, If Beale Street Could Talk, and
not fans. Not fans. I still need someone to explain to me why people like it so much. But okay,
whatever.
We'll move on.
What's your first one?
My first one is one that I'm guessing you've never heard of, which is The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert from 1994.
Nope. I have
no
idea what that is.
This movie is, I mean, it's from 1994, it's a little bit older. It's about two drag queens and a transgender woman who are part of like a cabaret. You know, like they do a song and dance, they lip sync and dance at clubs and everything.
Cool.
And it's about them taking a bus that they named Priscilla through the desert to do a tour through Australia. They're Australian. So they're going through all these, like, they're like, the two drag queens, this movie's very campy. They are, you know, they're giggling and, you know, shouting and screaming and being very sassy. You know, this movie, I mean, is a lot of sass. It's a lot of, like, quick back and forth, like, one-liners and everything like that.
Yeah.
But the trans woman is very reserved. You know, she's a lot more collected. You know, she acts like a normal person, I would say, you know. And but you know, she's got the best like gotchas, you know, like the back and forth. Like if someone comes out with her, someone's like, shut up, you worthless little speck, or whatever, you know. Like she's very good at stuff like that. And so they're traveling, and guess what? Through the small towns in Australia, people aren't as into drag queens as they would be in like Sydney. Or, you know, people are kind of like, what? You know? Makes sense. But it's just their adventures going through doing a couple shows. They have good experiences. They have not so great experiences. You know, they get I think their bus gets painted with AIDS fuckers go home. Oh. But the thing is, the movie doesn't take itself super seriously. They kind of see that and they're like, that's really funny. Oh. Like, you know, and then they paint over it and like with lavender paint. And I think that's something that I kind of enjoy from this movie, that it is pretty lighthearted. It never kind of dwells too long on the homophobia that is present in the film. You know, it kind of moves on, because when you think of it, these characters, they must experience it all the time. So for a movie to like paint it as so awful and focus on it so hard would just be untrue to the characters, because it's like they've been doing it for a while. They'd be used to it at this point, you know? Yeah. But I think the most touching part of the film, because it does have a few touching parts, I think the end isn't not the end the way it ends, but just the last third it just kind of bogs down a little bit.
Okay.
But the most touching part of the film is when the trans woman meets a man that they might have the start of a budding relationship, and it just feels like really honest about the whole situation, and they really don't go into it. It's maybe like 10 minutes screen time tops, of these two characters, but it just felt really, really touching and honest between the two of them, with the backdrop of like this uproarious comedy to just stop for a second and have like a touching scene of like, acceptance, because she's always going about it like, oh, she's too old to think about any of that, and oh, he's too old for me, like that. But they're both like, they're both like 50s probably, but I don't know, it was just really touching. The actor did a very good job. Terrence Stamp, he did a very, very good job in that role, I thought.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
Number
4.
Numero 4, a movie that apparently you might have a take on.
Number 4, good.
Elio.
Yes, that is the thing right before the end of the movie.
It's Call Me By Your Name, yo.
Call Me By Your Name.
And apparently, I don't know, but apparently this guy doesn't like it.
Hey, that's not true. I just don't like it as much as everybody else does, which, can be worse when you hear about a movie and you look at the ratings, you're like, wow, I'm going to buckle in for a great movie, and then you're like, oh, it's fine.
Well, I think Call Me By Your Name is wonderful.
Okay. Well, why don't you explain yourself, and then I can explain why you're wrong.
Okay. Listen, Call Me By Your Name.
What's the movie about? I assume everyone knows it was very, very popular. But still.
It's about Elio, played by Timothée Chalamet, who's chilling it's in northern Italy. He's chilling.
He's a 17-year-old boy.
He's 17. Yes. And Armie Hammer. Why can't I think of his name right now? Oliver.
Yeah.
He comes to his house to help his father with like archaeology.
Yeah, something like that.
And they form a very intimate relationship throughout the time that he's there for like the summer.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's married. Basically what the movie's about.
He's gonna get married at the end.
Yeah, he gets married, and that's basically the movie. It's just their friendship and relationship throughout for the movie. That's literally it.
Yeah. So what do you like about it?
Well, what don't I like about it, to be honest?
I could give you a few pointers.
Okay, fine.
No.
Here we go.
What do you like?
It's I think it's shot in like kind of like it almost looks like a fantasy movie.
Right, exactly.
I think, which is, I kind of liked it and I also like the point that there's really no like homophobia in this movie at all. It's just a beautiful love story between two people. And I really appreciate that. And his parents are very accepting at the
encouraging
end.
Even.
And, they're like, yeah, dude, go for it. And I love the performances from Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer too. Were just like really killer. The only thing that brings me down is he's 17, and
that bothered you?
I think.
Oh, it didn't bother me at all.
He's
That's
like
funny.
17, and he's like, what, 32?
No, he's like 27.
It's just weird.
Or like 29, maybe.
17 just seems a little young.
Well, here's a part that
I wouldn't get with the 17-year-old.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty sure the age I mean, they're just in Italy for like vacation, right?
Yeah, they're just
but I'm pretty sure the age of consent in Italy is like something fucked up, like 13 or something.
Oh,
but that was in the 80s, maybe.
Didn't know this.
I don't know, but all those countries are a little bit different. We're the most like stringent on it, I think. But did you have any more that you were gonna say?
Just like I can't think of the word right now, but like you see their relationship like grow throughout the movie, and at first they're kind of like, like blah 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 blah. But then obviously you see them grow and they grow close. Obviously they have very intimate moments together. And then it's just like really heartbreaking at the end when he gets on the train and goes away. That last look when he looks through the train window, that like killed me. And then it's just over. And that's it. And then they get the call on the phone, and then Timothée Chalamet cries in front of the fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is extremely emotional. And the music.
Yeah, the music was very cool.
The music, I really enjoyed it. Adds to the fantasy element of the movie.
Did you hear the song remember when they went to the like dance party. Timothy Chalamet was like, "Oh, dance later," and he was looking at Army Hammer dancing. He was like freaking out. Did you hear the song?
No.
The song at the beginning it went, "There's an army on the dance floor." And
Really?
it was Army Hammer.
Nice. I love it. But yeah, I really like the music and the two like original songs.
I really like the titles. Like the credit titles at the beginning, it was the script.
Yeah,
kinda,
they're really. It's very elegant.
like, but where they're placed and just the look of them.
Uh-huh.
You know, I thought that
I
they were
agree.
good.
Yes. But yeah, the two like main songs. One of them is Visions of Gideon. That's like the last one, and the other one is like the Mystery of Love. I think.
Yeah, they're both Sufjan Stevens songs.
Yeah, they're good. I like them.
Yeah.
Tell me why it's a terrible movie.
No, it's not a terrible movie. But again, it's just opinion based. I'm not gonna say anything objective here, you know. So it's all opinion based. One, and this is probably gonna be the most controversial because like there are awards saying that this is true. I thought this movie was kind of ugly. I thought this movie.
You didn't like to look at this movie?
Not ugly, but just kind of boring. I thought this movie was pretty boring. Here's the thing. Who was the cinematographer? The cinematographer, I believe, is Vietnamese. He did Suspiria. That's what he did. And the use of color in both of those movies I thought was really good. But I thought the just composition in general was oftentimes very safe. And I think it's something I see in movies that take place in beautiful places a lot, where they have to stop compensating for like an ugly environment. And they're just like, look, this is really pretty, so just shoot it like normal. And like, yeah, it's really pretty, but I'm like, but it's a boring shot. Even though the subject is really pretty, it's like, I can't think of one shot where I was like, wow, that's a really cool, pretty shot. There was like, wow, that's a really cool, pretty building. Wow, that's a real cool, pretty picture, like hanging on the wall. But I can't even think of one shot where I was like, wow, that's a really interesting technique or blah, 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 blah. And I was kind of waiting for that the whole time because they have a really cool shot in Adventures of Priscilla that I really like. They have two, actually. There's one where she's standing on a bus and she's got like a huge, like 50-meter long, like dress on that's like flowing off the back of the bus. You know?
Oh, that's cool.
It's very, very cool. And I was waiting for something like that in this movie. Okay, not like that, but something interesting to like digest. And I feel like I never got it. At least for that.
I'm trying to think. You keep talking. I'll try to think of maybe something.
The other thing kind of along with that. Well, one thing, the director, Luca Guadagnino.
Don't know how
something
to
like
pronounce
that.
it, but
Luca
yeah,
Guadagnino,
that is
something like that.
Yeah, that is it, basically.
He is gay, so that's good. You like that.
I didn't know that.
Which is interesting to me. I didn't expect that from watching this movie. I did not expect the director to be gay, but I found out that the writer, not gay, straight. This original story written by a straight person. He said he wrote it in like, I don't want to say, but it was a very short amount of time.
Oh.
And he never expected it to like take off or anything.
Yeah.
But I felt that. I felt that it was written by a straight person, I think. And directing, that's why I was kind of surprised that he was gay because of that. There is a weird... I expected there to be more appreciation of being gay in this movie or of men in this movie. You know, we just watched Spike Lee movies and he often uses the camera and lighting and everything, and She's Gotta Have It and Do the Right Thing, you know, to really appreciate the female form. And you get zero of that in this movie when they're like so obsessed with each other. And like, I didn't get one feeling of like appreciation towards just a male body, you know, from the camera's perspective. Obviously they're kissing each other or whatever, but like the camera never showed me that it appreciated the contours and folds of a male body, you know? And I thought that was interesting because they spend so much time shirtless. Like, you know,
They never have clothes on.
Timothy
in this movie.
Chalamet wears a shirt twice, maybe.
They literally never have clothes on in this movie.
Right. I mean, I know that Army Hammer, he wore those short shorts, and they had to digitally edit his testicles out of the film.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, he's packing.
His testicles.
Whatever.
Okay, you don't pack testicles. He's got huge balls.
I mean, Army Hammer
Damn,
for
I'm
a
so
reason.
jealous. No, so I
That's
thought
funny.
that...
They really did that?
Yeah, I thought that oversight was a little weird.
That's hilarious. They should have left it in.
Right, I mean...
Give me the ball sack cut.
The ball sack cut. Then here comes
Get that trending.
more objective stuff. I thought Army Hammer wasn't very good. I mean,
Who
I
are you?
didn't think he was bad, but I was like, oh, he's fine. I felt like what he was saying didn't match with how he was saying it. I don't know. Again, Timothée Chalamet, incredible. He was fantastic. I thought it was incredible. Okay. But Armie Hammer, I guess because Timothée Chalamet was so good when Armie Hammer was on screen, I was like, you could do better, Armie Hammer. It's like you're really being outclassed by a 20-year-old. I don't know. I just didn't think he was. Again, he wasn't bad, but it was just like there could have been a better choice, I think. One weird thing that I would just want to point out was that I don't know if this is true, but I saw this. They casted Timothée Chalamet was 20 in this movie when they shot it. They casted Timothée Chalamet when he was 15.
What?
Thought that was a little weird. They casted him when he was 15, and they were like, yeah, as soon as we find a guy, we're going to shoot this movie. And I thought that was a little strange, personally. I thought that was a little weird.
Huh.
That got to me a little bit. That wasn't before, so that didn't tarnish my viewing. I found that out afterwards, but I still thought it was weird. Because
strange.
In the movie, Timothée Chalamet didn't look 17 to me, so that never affected me the way it did you. Oh, what else is there? Oh, another thing. Okay. Well, this one is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it.
What do you mean you didn't? Well, you didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. I did not believe it. I didn't believe their relationship. I did not believe that they actually loved each other.
Okay. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, right, because it's a totally opinion. But I just didn't, I didn't, and I don't know if it was their fault, if it was like I said, the camera's fault, the director's fault, but I just didn't buy this relationship. And it was only magnified, because get it from my perspective, where I was watching the whole movie, and I wasn't this negative as I was watching the movie, because I was like, oh, the movie's not over. But I'm watching the whole movie, I was like, yeah, these guys seem pretty close, but like, I'm not like saying like, they don't seem like soulmates really to me. Like, yeah, they seem close, they seem to have a good thing going on, but I'm not buying like, oh, they are meant for each other. So that's where my head is at. And then I get to the scene with the professor, the father, right? And he's like, I wish I had something as beautiful as you two have. When his wife is like in the other room, he's like, I've never experienced love like you two have. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in this whole world. Where from my perspective, I was like, oh yeah, they seem like they're having a nice summer fling. You know, that's where I was at emotionally. And then the dad's like, this is the most beautiful love I've ever seen. You must savor it and protect it and chase it. And I love you and support you, or blah, blah, blah. And I was just kind of like, I thought this was just like a hookup. Like, this doesn't seem like they didn't even, I don't know. That's just me. They were obviously hiding around because they had to, right? I understand that. But, you know, maybe I don't know what the movie could have done to sell that to me more. But I mean, Timothée Chalamet, straight. Armie Hammer, also straight. I don't know if that affected it, but, you know, it could have. There could be something going on that's like, maybe there is. Because you know what this movie is really similar to? You know what movie this is actually movie is just the same movie?
There's another movie that is exactly the same.
Can we talk about it now? We don't have to say it where it is on our ranks.
I'm down.
But we're talking about Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which we talked on our debut episode, right?
Yeah.
Episode 1.
So, yeah.
SawCon.
SawCon.
And that movie is, in my opinion, much better than this movie.
Listen, I agree with this statement.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Portrait is better than Call Me by Your Name, but.
And let's go through how they're similar. Well, obviously you have two gay characters. In Portrait, it's lesbians.
Yes.
But two characters who can't be outward about their love for each other.
Right.
When's Portrait take place?
In like the 1800s, I think.
Is it the 1880s? Because then they would both take place in the 80s.
Yo, let's just say
let's just say it does. So you have two people that have to kind of work around their relationship. They speak Italian, English, and French in both movies.
Yes.
What else is there?
In both movies, one of the characters is coming to the other person's house to do something for them.
True. Except in Portrait, it is directly for the love interest, where it's more indirect for Calling by Name.
Right.
Not that matters.
Marriage. Both of them get married.
Both of them get married or getting married. You know.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of similarities.
And the final shot.
The final shot is the same.
Are exactly the same.
They're the same.
It's just somebody crying.
Okay. But which one do you prefer?
Okay, that's not fair.
Why isn't it fair?
Because obviously the one in Portrait is like extremely emotional.
Portrait made me more emotional, like outright, where I think, I don't know. Well, because the thing with Portrait is that it's shorter,
Yeah.
but it's still like like they aren't running credits over it.
Right.
I thought that was, I get it for the Call Me by Your Name, but what do you think I think it's like 6 minutes long. Like, no joke. Like, it's super long.
The campfire part?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not a campfire. Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's like 6 minutes long. So I get them doing the credits over it, but like, I think I would have preferred it if it was actually just shorter and no credits. You know? Like, even if they made it like 3 minutes or whatever, but just no credits and just him starting, I think I would have preferred that. Because it felt a little like cheap. I was like, he's having a really emotional moment right here. You're just going to roll the credits on my man right now? He's like broken up and you're like, oh, time to wrap it up.
Oh, okay, I guess.
That wasn't like a negative, but that's just a funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Portrait one made me, I looked like her at the end of the Portrait one. I was doing the same thing.
It's in part because there's like no music in the movie at all.
True
and
that.
then like
True that.
At the very end, they're like, you know what, we're doing. It's like number 12 concerto,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like one of just like a killer orchestral just
track.
Like, it's just like.
Yeah, it was the sicko mode of the time.
Yeah, it's sicko mode of the 1880s. Yeah. And it just like totally overtakes you.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was a very clever device they had with the use of music, and that it was a cheap trick. They really did it to us. And again, like I said, where it was lacking in Call Me by Your Name, you really get to appreciate women in Portrait of a Lady on Fire and their bodies and their armpit hair.
But
yeah. Well,
I guess
up, I think we should kind of, if somebody hasn't seen it, there's no sex in Call Me by Your Name. You never see anybody have sex.
What?
Not true.
Timothy Chalamet is totally banging that chick.
Oh, you never see gay sex. There we go. You never see gay sex in the movie. You do see a lot of straight sex. You never see gay sex in the movie.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because that is that is one of my major criticisms. Because the director said about it that he wanted it to be like palatable to all audiences, and that felt kind of like cowardly to me. I was like, gay people, a marginalized group, shouldn't have to censor themselves to be palatable to like the mainstream.
Right.
You know?
Okay,
like,
I agree with that.
I was like, that seems like a stupid, I want all people to see it, so I don't want anybody to throw up, so they're never going to have gay sex. I mean, he does.
I guess they never really go all the way on.
He blows him, and I think maybe the top of his head is like barely peeking through, and that's like the most you get. Otherwise, they're just laying on top of each other, and he's still got their pants on, and then it pans away, and you hear like, oh, you know? Yeah. And that's like the most you get. I thought the lack of gay sex in the movie was very strange, especially when it's like I don't know.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it was weird, especially because there is straight sex just on screen where he just comes in the girl, Marcia.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, seems a little weird. Also, with the peach scene.
The peach.
Yeah, the peach. If you guys don't know the peach scene.
The cum peach walked so the killer peach and Parasite could run. That's all I have to say.
Maybe they're the same peach.
It made it all that way.
So what happens, I didn't understand the scene when I first watched it. Did you?
Which scene?
The cum peach scene.
What do you mean you didn't understand?
No, I understand he was fucking coming the peach. I mean the scene after that where Armie Hammer's going to eat the peach and then he starts crying.
Oh, he's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah, but then he like gets really worked up.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that scene at first. But he cries because he wants him to eat the cum peach. But that's why he cries. He's like, no, don't. Because he's like afraid of like somebody loving him so much. So he's like, no, don't do it. So, but it's weird because he never eats the cum peach. So I did a little digging.
He does
Yeah, he does lick it, but he doesn't eat it.
Right.
But I did a little digging. In the original story, he does eat the cum peach. He does eat it.
Interesting.
And Elio doesn't cry until after he's eaten it. So I thought that was also a weird change. That seems like a disservice to the film. It just felt weird to me because like I don't know. The peach is like, it's Elio. Literally, it is Elio, right?
Little baby Elios.
So he doesn't eat the peach. It's what are you saying? And he's not saying anything. He's just not doing what the story did. I don't know. I thought it was weird. The movie also has them watch each other take a shit. So like I get cutting some stuff.
Wait. When is that in the movie?
It's not the story, the short story.
Oh, I was like, I do not
or the
remember
book.
this.
I don't know. But yeah, he's like, I don't want them to be any boundaries between us. They don't like sit down. I think they just do it in front of each other. And I'm like, okay, cool. But he also took that out. Explain yourself. I get that one.
Okay.
But there's one very erotic scene in Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Portrait goes wild.
There's one scene
sometimes.
There was one scene where I was like, wow, they're really showing, and I was like, no, they're not showing what I think they're showing. That's an armpit.
Oh. Yes.
You know? Other thing to say about the Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Portrait de la jeune fille en feu.
Yeah, that one.
Celine Sciamma directed. Lesbian.
Yep.
I don't believe they're still together, but was in a relationship with I feel Adele Hanel.
Yeah.
Adele Hanel.
That's it.
They used to be in a relationship. I don't think they are anymore. So they're both lesbians. Noemi something, the other leading lady. I think she's straight, but I'm not sure.
Do not know the answer.
But we have at least 1 out of 2, which is good.
Better than 0.
And if that's something that helped with the connection between them, because I bought their connection a lot more than I did Call Me by Your Names. Another interesting thing to note, I don't know what this, just spitballing here, not spitballing, I'm just saying words. Apparently Call Me by Your Name had very little like rehearsals and stuff. They did a lot of shooting and they kind of wrapped it up pretty quickly, I think. And Portrait of a Lady on Fire was very clinical. It was very, you have to say the words in the script exactly as they are. You don't make a turn, like every turn, every eye movement was in the script.
Right, yeah.
Like take a breath at the end of this word. Like don't change it. Follow the script exactly. And Calling by Your Name was a little more loosey-goosey, which is weird because I would have sworn the opposite. I would have sworn that Portrait of a Lady on Fire was just these 2 women just vibing, and Call Me by Your Name was 2 people following the script to the letter, when it was the opposite. I don't know how you feel.
How about that? I did not. I did not.
You didn't feel that one seemed loosey-goosey or anything?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any of that.
I really like Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
It's a great movie. It's killer. We both got our criterions of it this week.
We did. I got it before you, though.
Yeah, like 2 days.
2 days.
What's up with that? Amazon.
Well, you got through Amazon?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it through the Criterion?
It's cheaper on Amazon.
Is it? How much?
I don't know.
Okay,
like
we
at
just
least
talk about
$10.
Okay. But yeah, I think just I bought into the connection between because there, you know what, there's a lot more. Maybe I'm crazy with this one, but there is a lot more flirting in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Portrait, than there is in Call Me by Your Name.
Yes.
There is a lot more back and forth, testing the waters, blah, 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 blah. Call Me by Your Name, he gives him a massage, then kind of goes away for a while, and Timothy's always just trying to be friends with him, or get with him or whatever, and then they just kind of like kiss. Like, he's like, I don't know about sex, and Armie Hammer's like, what?
Right, yeah.
And then they just kind of like roll around and kiss, and then he's like, that's it. So it was a lot faster in Call Me by Your Name, and maybe that's also why I didn't believe it. But like you said, it was like a fantasy. I get the indulgence of being like, imagine a perfect getaway with people can just love each other and have a great relationship no matter sexual orientation or age. Like, I get that. But it also felt just dishonest. If you're going to be that indulgent about the fantasy and then not go all in with the fornication, it just seems like a half measure. Like, the real... It seems weird. Like, without having any homophobia or any bad gay things happen to these characters, and you have this fantasy, like, why not indulge in that and show more intimate moments? And I know that they had, like, nudity clauses with their, like, hey, we're not going to do certain nudity or whatever. So that's with the actors, but there's still ways around it,
Right, yeah.
I don't know. And again, I don't hate this movie.
Apparently you do. It seems like we've been talking about it for like 25 minutes.
I know. I have a lot of criticisms of this movie, but I still think it's good. As long as I just kind of close my ears during the part where the dad's like, you love that man you just met more than I love your mom, who I've been married to for many years. As long as I just don't think about that part, I can really enjoy the movie.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Good. Okay.
I don't know. Is it my turn?
Yeah, just do your next one.
Okay. Number 4 is Monster from 2003.
The Charlize one?
The Charlize one.
I've never seen this movie.
Yeah, it is good. She won the Oscar for it.
I remember.
Got a bunch.
Well, I don't remember her winning,
Right,
but
yeah.
I know.
She's got a bunch of makeup. She looks like a monster. Based on a true story.
Monster.
And sorry, Eileen or whatever your name is. It is her and Nicole Richie, I think. And she's not a lesbian per se, I guess. This is a thing where she's not like a lesbian. Like, she doesn't date women, but she just happens to meet this woman and kind of it changes her mind about it, you know? And she's trying to take care of this young woman that she's fallen for, and they've fallen for each other. And, you know, money's tough. They got to make ends meet, and she becomes a prostitute. You know, she's prostituting, and she ends up killing a John.
Oh.
You know, and that's kind of the movie is the murder and just trying to protect her from the murder and from all the backlash out of that. Herschel shows up at the end.
Herschel.
From The
Walking Dead. Nice.
Yeah, I like freaked out. I was like, whoa, Herschel. But yeah, the performances obviously in this movie are the real prize of this. Charlize Theron, of course, is fantastic. Unrecognizable, like completely unrecognizable.
Wow. Okay.
And it is the thing that like she's not a lesbian or whatever is weird, but because at first it seems almost like a motherly affection that she has for her that she takes on. That's kind of like what you assume, I think, because you just weren't thinking of it, and then it turns into more of a romantic relationship. But I thought it was well done. It's not the thing about this movie is that like they're pretty explicitly like, this isn't love. This is kind of a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
They're kind of feeding off of each other in negative ways. You know, they're kind of tying each other down.
I have a movie like that later in my list.
Oh, very cool. And yeah, that's all I have to say. It's a really solid film. Charlize is in it. I promise you won't be able to tell, but she is.
You won't know.
And I'd say check it out. It's probably the most un-gay focused of all my movies.
Yeah.
But the two main characters are lesbians, so like, come on.
Yeah.
Or bisexual at least.
Of course. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out sometime. My number 3. It's a movie.
Well, good.
Called Tangerine.
Tangerine, number 3.
That's
Jeez.
my number 3.
Can I say something outright?
About Tangerine?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a movie that not everyone's going to like. For
dude.
many reasons.
This is a crazy movie.
All right, continue.
Well, I guess start off with filmmaking standpoint. This movie is shot completely on an iPhone 5S.
iPhone 5S.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember the iPhone 5S? They shot a whole movie on this.
Now it wasn't just like they had like a rig and stuff, you know, like it wasn't
Right, but it's still
the camera is an iPhone.
and you can tell.
And you can really tell.
You can tell.
In a bad way, I guess.
Kind of
In a bad way. But it's a vibe.
This movie. I'll say what it's about. It's about Cindy. She just got out of prison.
Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A trans woman who just got out of prison, and she finds out from her friend, her best friend. I can't remember her name.
Me either. Is it Angela? No, I don't know.
We need to make a name for her just so we can. Rachel.
It's not Rachel. Alexandra, maybe.
Alexandria. That sounds
it might be that. Yeah.
Close. Okay. Her best friend. Yeah, they're best friends. She finds out.
Both trans women.
Yeah, both trans women. She finds out that her pimp, who's her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend.
Right.
Cheated on. Cheated on her.
He been fucking around with some white bitch.
With some white bitch. Yes. Oh, I guess also important. They're both black trans women.
Yeah, black trans women. Who are only Cindy is a pimped. Alexandra's she's not. Or is she? Oh wait.
Yeah,
she is. She is. You're right.
The one
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
So yes, they're both prostitutes.
Yes.
As well.
So the whole movie is about her like trying to find the chick, the white bitch.
Yeah, that slept with her
pimp boyfriend. Her pimp boyfriend. Find her, and then like confront her boy. What's his name? Chester.
Yeah,
that's the movie. That's what the movie's about.
So it's
a comedy, by the way.
It is a comedy. It's all shot on iPhone. It's very. They put like filters on it. You can tell, to try to help the color and everything. It does look like amateurish,
It looks like an indie film.
It does, yeah.
Very, very indie.
Very. The Cindy, I don't know her name. I'm very sorry. She was fine. She was
the actress.
Yes, she was
Maya Taylor.
No, that's Alexandria. Cindy is like Kiki or something.
I thought it was. Yeah, I have it here. Kitana Kiki Rodriguez.
That is Cindy.
Oh.
Maya Taylor is Alexandria or whatever her name is. She's the other one. And I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was it?
Kitana Kiki Rodriguez.
Kitana Kiki Rodriguez was a little bit. I mean, she did what she was supposed to do, but I don't know. Maybe it was just the part, but I thought when I was comparing the two of them.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
Right.
That
exactly.
Alexandria's a better performer. Yeah. This movie's really funny.
It is
to me.
Funny.
I think it's really funny.
You're either gonna find it hilarious or incredibly annoying.
Yeah, you're just gonna be like, this movie sucks.
Like,
what am I doing?
Actually, watch if the first scene you think is awful, like unbearable, just turn it off. If the first scene you think is like, maybe give it a little bit more. If you're into it, I mean, you're obviously gonna be into it. But if you hate it at first, you're gonna hate it. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I love the part there's like there's more like two kind of separate stories going on. There's the story of them or Cindy trying to find the white bitch.
Yeah.
And then there's the story of
that reminds me of that Narnia spoof movie. I forget what it was called. But it was like there's Narnia so it's like in Narnia, is it the White Witch?
Yeah, the White Witch.
Yeah, so in the spoof movie, like date movie or epic movie,
yeah.
It's like one of those. I forget what it's called. But they go to Narnia. Oh, it might be epic movie or something. I don't know. They go to Narnia and they all call her, it's the white bitch.
Oh.
That's what they call her.
Nice.
It's a very funny movie. I have a weak spot for those really stupid
Starving games.
Oh.
Starving games rocks.
Okay. We'll have to do an episode on those.
Yes, for sure. Where was I? Oh, yes. The other story is about this Albanian. I think he's an Albanian taxi driver.
Or no, it's Armenian. Or wait, is it? Because Albanian is Inside Man, which Chester is also in. So he's Armenian. Because I remember thinking that, and I was like,
okay.
I think so.
Foreign. Okay. Taxi driver.
Yes.
And like the first half he's in the movie, you just like it'll just cut to it every now and then, and he'll just be like driving like some random person, and it's always just like super dumb. I wonder, I didn't look in like the trivia or anything on IMDb. I wonder if that was like real.
Oh, no way.
Because in like
the dog lady,
what is it? Under the Skin.
Oh yeah, how that was
how
real?
Like Scarlett Johansson actually just went like picked up these guys. I wonder if that was like he was just taxi driving these wacky
I'd be
people.
really surprised because they were really wacky.
It would be really funny.
The dog lady made me feel bad. There was a lady who had a dog carrier, and he was like, "What's your dog's name? He's very well behaved." And she's like, "He's not in the cage." And I felt so bad. I was like, this poor woman. But the funniest part of the movie to me, I don't know why I found this so hilarious. So he cruises around the block where the trans prostitutes.
Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. And he sees a new girl, and he picks her up, and he's really into her. He's like, "What's your name? Tell me what's your name?" And she's like, "Whatever." And so basically, they get down to it or whatever, and he like takes it off or takes his pants off, and he's like, "No, I go down on you first or whatever." So she takes her pants off, and he's like, "What the fuck is this? What?" And she's like, "It's a pussy." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of my cabin." So he's picking up trans women, and she was an actual woman. He's like, "That street is not for you. You stay away," or whatever. It was such a hilarious scene, the way they did it. It was so funny.
Oh man. Yeah. So they find the chick, the white bitch, and then Darlene
or Diane or Desiree.
Right. They can't.
That's the joke, because they don't know her
they
name.
They don't know her name. It's Dinah, right?
That's Last of Us Part 2.
No, that's Dina.
Oh, is
Like,
it
I think
Dinah?
her name's Dinah.
Was it?
Right?
I
She's
don't
like,
know.
is here. She's like, Desiree. And the one chick is like, Dinah. And she's like, yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah. I forget, because I thought she didn't actually know her. I forget.
I'm pretty sure it's Dinah.
Well, Dee Dee.
And then, like, the next, like, quarter of the movie is Cindy just, like, dragging her through the city. And she's like, stop it.
Yeah.
And then she's trying to take her to Chester. And then she's like, oh, crap, I forgot.
That was actually a really touching moment to me.
What?
When they were on the bus, and she was like, what time is it? And it was like 8 o'clock. And she was like, all right, we got to make a detour first. And I was like, she actually cared. Like, that's actually really, really sweet. She drags the woman that she just kidnapped to her friend's show.
Yeah.
Where she's singing.
And then, yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
And then they leave. And then they all group up.
Everybody, including the cab driver.
Yeah, everyone in the story groups up at donut time, which is where the story begins. Which
Donut time.
Donut shop.
Awesome.
Donut time is sick. And they're all just chilling there.
Yeah.
And basically the last like 25 minutes of the movie is just everybody yelling.
Yes.
Just yelling. She's like, who's this bitch? You slept with this bitch.
Yeah.
And then the dude gets there, and I can't remember why, but for his mother-in-law, because he has a wife and a kid.
Yes.
And the mother-in-law, this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I guess this is a very important part. So his family's over or whatever, and he's like, I have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just going to go chill with Alexandria, who's like his main chick.
No, Cindy is his main chick. She was in prison, though, so that's why.
Right, yeah, he's
Yeah.
yo, I got to get with Cindy because she just got out of prison. And he gets there, and obviously the family thinks it's working, but the mother-in-law is like, no, he not working. So she goes out, and she finds him at donut time and realizes that...
You're smoking marijuana with all these people?
Yeah, she thinks that's happening at first. But then she realizes that he's with a bunch of prostitutes. And then she's freaking out, and he's like, no, stop. Like, and then as that argument's happening, the argument between Cindy and Chester is happening. Chester's like, I don't know, like, I love you. Chester, I don't know who that actor is.
Oh, he's Ziggy from The Wire. He's great.
But he's really funny.
Yeah,
in this
I love
movie.
that guy.
He's like, I move. He's like, this is where I do my business.
Whose name is this? Right here. He's got Cindy's name tattooed on his chest. Whose name is this, baby?
And then while all this arguing is happening, the Asian woman that is like
owns Donut Time
is like, I'm gonna call the cops.
Like, I'm calling the cops on you. Get out of my Donut Time.
And then Chester's like, I can't remember. He knows like her name because he's there all the time. So he's like, just chill out. We'll be done in like 5 seconds.
Down.
Here, we'll buy some donuts.
Yeah. and then they're like, what donuts do we get? It's Christmas. We gotta get Christmas donuts, right? People who hate this movie are gonna think this conversation's like the worst.
And then after this like crazy ride,
you find out that Chester slept with Cindy's best friend.
Yes.
And it causes a great divide. This is the very end of the movie.
Yeah. And then the movie gets pretty emotional.
It does get pretty emotional.
And so Cindy's like just like walking away. She's like super upset, and Alexandria's like, Cindy, come on, Cindy, I'm sorry, it was just one time, Cindy.
And then
they go to the laundromat.
No, what happens?
Wait.
Why did they go to the laundromat?
Oh, because a group of assholes roll up and they throw a bucket, or is it just a cup? It's either a bucket or a cup.
It's quite a bit though.
Piss.
Yeah. And they call him a slur, and
they say a bunch of really rude things.
Yeah.
And then Alexandria's like, oh my gosh, Cindy, we need to go get you cleaned up or whatever. So they go to the laundromat, and she's like, I don't have any other clothes. And she's like, it's okay, we'll get you some. And
then she has to put the wig in the wash too, because it's obviously soaked.
She's like, I don't want to take the wig off. She's like, just do it. And so they take the wig off, and they put it on the washer, and then they're just sitting there. And then Alexandria takes her wig off and gives it to Cindy.
Yeah, and it's very sweet.
And then the movie just ends.
Yeah. Also, her name was Alexandra. I just checked.
There we go.
So good.
So we've been doing good.
But yeah, it was strangely touching by the end.
I know. I was like, wow.
It was a point where it was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was getting invested in these people. You
Right,
know,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I was just laughing, but then you realize, oh wait, I care a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, it was a surprise. No, I definitely really enjoyed it too. The reason it's not on my top five, it is the production. You know,
Right, yeah.
it does bog it down a bit for me because this movie is a lot more fun to just listen to. I think.
Oh my gosh.
You know, another part that cracked me up is where her and Dinah or whatever were still on really bad terms, and they're in the bathroom of the show, like before she's going on, and they just start doing like meth or something.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's like what? Like, I just thought that was funny.
Yes. Oh man. Tangerine, great movie.
Great movie.
Like Tangerine a lot. Oh, it's directed by Sean Baker,
Really?
who did the Florida Project, which I'm
Mhm.
sure is much more popular with many people.
Everybody.
Everyone probably knows
Probably.
what that movie is.
Yeah.
Florida Project is much better.
Yeah. But they're both good.
They're both good though.
Mhm.
But yeah, Sean Baker. I think that's like his only 2 movies.
Really?
He
Huh.
might have like maybe like one other, but
He did the end of that movie was also with a phone in Disneyland.
yes, I knew
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Well, it's very obvious.
right. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah, Tangerine. That was my number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is a 2019 movie. Really new. Same year as Portrait of a Lady on Fire. What a good year for the gay.
Everything.
Pain and Glory from Pedro
Yes.
Almodovar.
That would be like my number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I had this at number 3 was because it accomplished the thing I was looking for in Call Me by Your Name, where I really felt the want in Antonio Banderas's like heart when he met up with his old ex, you
The
know,
old flame.
like right before they made out super hard. Remember?
Yeah, that was
Like,
crazy.
good
They
act.
really go
They
for it.
really go for like that was the most going for it I've ever seen.
Yeah, they go hard.
Um,
Well, I don't know. Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, that too.
They go pretty hard on that one.
But I thought it really captured Antonio Banderas. His performance probably he got nominated, which was good. I
Yes,
think
he
he really
did.
deserved a nomination at the very least. I think he accomplished that want, you know, and the disappointment. I remember there was a really good scene right before that whole scene with the ex. I really enjoyed that whole point of events, where he tells him about like how he's married and has like a kid or whatever, and you can Antonio Banderas barely moves, but you can see his heart break. You know, like it's a slight eye movement or something, and you can just feel if you've ever like felt something like that, like you know exactly what he's feeling in that moment. You know,
Right.
so mostly my high praise for this movie is because of Antonio Banderas. Big criticism of this movie takes a while to start up. If you
Yeah.
remember the beginning of this movie, you're kind of like, okay, what's the point?
He's in the pool.
He's in the pool, you know, he's got all these sicknesses or whatever. This movie's basically about Pedro Almodovar. Like it's him, you know, because he is gay, and it's him. He's older, you know. He's kind of looking back on his past career. The character in the film is kind of has a creative block for many, many years, you know, and it's all about him trying to like come to terms with his life basically, and live the rest of it, you know, move on to the rest of his life, you know. And I thought that's a very effective message.
Yes. I think we should talk about the ending.
Do you have any? Well, I was gonna save that for last. Do you have anything else that you liked about it? Full frontal from a dude.
Really?
Remember when he's taking the bath and the kid, him as a kid, he like passes out.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. I
it was
totally
really
forgot
funny.
about that. No, let's talk about the ending.
The ending, huge spoilers. It's I don't know if it's, I don't know. I loved it. I thought
The ending
it
is
was
really good.
because you get a lot of flashback scenes, which sometimes seem, especially because the beginning there are flashback scenes where I was kind of like, okay, what's the point? I don't really get it. And the point comes at the end. I wonder if a rewatch the movie would
Big
be much
point.
better, you know?
Yeah.
But the movie ends, and all the flashbacks you were seeing of him as a kid were actually his next project, his next movie, which would have been autobiographical, which is
Yeah.
kind of what Pedro Almodovar was doing with the movie already. So it's
Yeah.
almost like 3 layers.
When it happened, when we were in the theater, it just like it looks like it's gonna be the final shot. It's like
Yeah.
his mom and the kid like watching the fireworks on this like bench or whatever, and then they're just like chilling, and you're like, oh, this is nice, and then you just hear someone like cut, and then it just
Yeah.
pulls back,
You can
and
see the
like you
boom
see film
guy,
crew
yeah.
everywhere, and you're
Yeah.
like, what?
And then it turns to Antonio Banderas, and he's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then it ends.
Yeah. So, yeah, very good because you're like, oh, he did it. He actually did make the movie. He
Right,
got
yeah.
over the block, you know. I thought the only thing with that is the part I was like, is the whole movie the movie, or was it just the flashbacks?
It's
The movie? You know what I mean? Like, did he direct and star in his own movie, and we just watched his own movie?
Dang.
When he, you know, it's who knows?
You never know.
Second watch, maybe I'll figure it out.
Nice.
But yeah, number
Pain
3.
and Glory. You should see it.
You should.
What are we on to? Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is a movie pretty recent. Also, it's The Favorite.
Yeah. I love that movie. I really, really, really love that movie. I decided to. I don't know why. I just felt right at the time. I decided to omit it from the list because I wanted to give a spotlight to more other gay movies.
Right.
So I omitted it because I don't think this movie is. It's not like about lesbianism. It just happens to have lesbians, which is great. I love that normalization of lesbians.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But I omitted it because the being a lesbian is not like the focus of the film, which is cool. But that's why it would have been on my list. It would have been in my number 2.
Yeah.
Just so we're all clear.
It rocks. It's a good movie.
If you like Yorgos Lanthimos, you'll like it. If you don't, you probably won't like it.
Yeah, his movies are he's got a very distinct style.
It's got to be the most palatable though, right? Out of like compared to The Lobster. You know,
Lobster.
Lobster's out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially because Emma Stone, giant movie star. Rachel
pulls
Rachel
out a
Weisz.
titty.
Yep, if you've never seen Emma Stone's boobs, you can watch this movie.
Olivia Colman won for it.
She did. Olivia Colman, super famous person. She won an Oscar for performance as the Queen. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Very obnoxious in the bunnies.
Oh yeah.
She's got a lot of bunnies.
It's just about these 2 women kind of vying for the Queen, Olivia Colman's like side, you know, to kind of be her partner, you know, because she's older, so like kind of when they're her like partner, they kind of have a little bit more power. So it's Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz battling for that, you know, and it makes you wonder: is Emma Stone a lesbian?
I don't know.
You know, like I believe by the end, even though Rachel Weisz is the cold one, she's the cold, stern one. I feel like she actually does love the Queen, and Emma Stone, I don't know if she does. I think she might not, and she might just be in it for the position.
Well, especially with the end. She's kind of just like, what am I doing?
So I think that comes through. Even if maybe she just happens to be lesbian, but not in love with her, or maybe, you know, who knows. The funniest part of that movie, you know what I'm talking about?
This movie's really funny, too.
This movie's hilarious. But the funniest part of the movie, just so we can get the highest point out of the way for you.
I don't know which part.
Not part of it. It's when Emma Stone's laying in her chambers.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He comes in.
Just making sure.
He's like, "Oh, how have you been?" And she's like, "Have you come have you come to seduce me, to rape me?" He goes, "Oh, that's offensive. I'm a gentleman." "Oh, rape then." And she just flops down on the bed.
Killer.
Such a good part. Like
Killer.
The Emma Stone, like her flop, like very, very good. I don't know.
They all got nominated, by the way.
Yeah. Good performances all around.
Really good.
Yeah.
The look of this movie is very distinct.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. So they have that like fisheye lens, right? Which is very cool, especially in that old buildings where you get both walls you can see going through. You really get the full breadth of the room. Going back to Call Me by Your Name.
Here we go.
I swear they only used one lens for that entire movie. Oh. And I was like, okay, we can't switch it up even once, but whatever. Anyway, back to favorite.
Just keep on ripping up.
I'm just saying.
Call Me by Your Name, sure.
Someone has to. Someone needs to knock it down a peg.
I suppose.
There's
always somebody.
I'll be that somebody for this one.
Sure, I guess. Whatever.
I still liked it. It's still a really good movie.
Yeah. Okay. What did I want to say?
About the favorite.
I think that. Oh man, it's been a while since I've seen it. It's kind of hard to recollect.
Mm-hmm.
It's very. The pull for power. Is. I think a very interesting dynamic in the story.
How do you mean?
Honestly, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm having a hard time trying to.
Well, you remember because Rachel Weisz, even though I believe she's the one that loves the Queen, isn't innocent in being manipulative. you know.
Right.
They both have their own tactics to try to manipulate the queen to make her do what they want.
Mm.
You know, like Emma Stone, she like rips her dress, I think, and like is crying outside of the queen's door to get her attention, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they both are not innocent of, you know, being perfect, right?
Right. Yeah, they're both kind of maniacal people.
A little bit. One more than the other.
Right. Emma Stone's kind of like a baddie in this in this movie. But this movie has kind of got it all when you really think about it.
I think so, yeah. You know what's funny? We saw this movie. We did a double feature. We did this movie, and then right after it, we did Roma.
Oh, dude. What a day. That was a day.
And I remember we were thinking, it's like, oh, what do we do first? Do we do the favorite first or we do Roma first? And we decided on the favorite first. Thank God.
Because, man.
After Roma, I don't think I would have found that. Because the queen's like, oh, yeah, these rabbits are all my dead children. If I had seen that after I saw Roma, I'd be like, I can't handle that. Like, what?
Right, yeah, of course. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, the favorite rocks. I mean, it's got funnies.
It was in my top 10 of the decade.
Right, it's pretty good. It's got saddies.
Mm-hmm.
It looks cool. It's got really annoying people.
The set and the costumes, all fantastic.
Yeah,
the
just the whole overall
what was it?
look of
Duck
the movie.
Was it ducks that they were racing?
I thought it was geese.
Oh, well, same thing.
Maybe it is duck. Yeah, that part's hilarious.
That's great.
All the men in this movie are just like wackos.
Yeah, they are. It's perfect.
Nicholas Hoult, he does a great job too.
Mhm,
He's in the
mhm.
movie. He plays like the main
If
person.
you can't handle the see you next Tuesday word, maybe avoid this one. They say the C word a ton. Mostly the men, actually.
What are you gonna do?
What are you going to do?
What are you gonna do? Someone gets dragged by a horse.
Oh, yeah.
That happens. The guns are fired.
They are. In fact.
I mean, there's
A lot of
nothing that
stuff.
doesn't happen in this movie.
I think we should just leave it as it's good, especially if you like Yorgos Lanthimos. You've probably already seen it, but you'll love it.
Yeah, he's a great director. He only has like 3 movies.
Yeah.
So
Eager to see more.
hopefully he will make a new movie soon.
All right, well, Moonlight was my next one, so you should move on to your number 2 spot.
That was my number 2.
Oh, wait, so oh, okay, cool. Because my number 1, technically, Portrait is my number 1, but this is my number 1 after Portrait, is Hedwig and the Angry Inch from 2001. And this is, you haven't seen this.
No,
I'm
I
very
have not.
disappointed.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. But Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a musical. It's like a punk rock musical. It's got, I want to say his name is John Cameron Mitchell. It was originally a stage musical. He wrote and directed it. And then he wrote and directed and starred. He does write, directs, and stars in this movie and the original stage play
Okay.
as Hedwig, as the leading lady.
Harry Potter's owl.
Yes, exactly. So he puts on this huge furry costume. No. Hedwig and the Angry Inch is about there's a boy named Hansel, who lives in Berlin at the time when the wall was up. So he's stuck in Berlin.
Okay.
And he's gay, and he meets a guy, and they fall in love, and they're like, I can take you out of Berlin, but we have to get married. Then he's like, oh, well, how are you going to get married? And he's like, oh, you're going to have to, give something up to get out of Berlin, to escape and live your life freely, So he's like, we'll get you a sex change operation. And Hansel's like, yeah, okay. And he goes to his mom. He's like, Mom, are you okay with this? And she's like, if it'll get you out, then yeah, we can do it. And you can use my name. You can become Hedwig, which is his mom's name.
Okay.
You can use my passport and everything. You'll get the sex change operation, because they did they were going to do a exam, like a physical exam. They're like, okay, we have to do this. So he gets the operation. It's a total bust. Goes terribly wrong. He gets chopped off, and then it closes up, and he's just got an angry inch of flesh.
Oh.
And so he's got no genitals, right? But he lives his life as Hedwig. He marries the man. She now marries the man. Moves to America. I think like a year later, the Berlin Wall comes down, and so she's still living in America, but like she sees that and she's like, oh, okay. And then her husband leaves her for a younger man.
Yikes.
And so she's all alone in a trailer park, and she starts writing music. She loves music. and she becomes like a punk rock singer, just like locally, you know, and she like writes songs and everything. She does that for a while. She meets a boy named Tommy, and together they start writing songs together, you know, and she creates this what do you call it? Like stage name for him, Tommy Gnosis, which is like knowledge in like Latin or something. I don't know. And they write songs together. And what happens is they have a relationship. They love each other, blah, blah, blah. He gets huge. He blows up.
Oh.
Super famous. And he leaves her behind. She doesn't get.
Dang.
Because they try to get physical, but Tommy can't handle it because there's nothing, you know?
Right.
And he's a young man, you know. I think she's like in her 20s and he's like 18, you know. And then basically she lives a long time, like probably like at least 5 years, and just doing her shows like normal. She just does her performance. She makes her music. She's really angry that she's not with Tommy and that he ran off, you know. It's a very angry movie.
Angry.
Yeah,
it's got angry in the
exactly.
name.
Hedwig is a very angry character, and you get that through the singing as well. Again, a musical. And there's a point where they meet back up. They share a night together. And then the movie gets really weird. Because they share a night together and they like crash a car and he's in the nudes and they're like, Tommy, who's this woman in quotations that you're with? Blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like coming at him. And he's like, oh, I don't know her. And then they do one last show, Hedwig and her band. And they are doing the show, and then the movie kind of takes on like a dream sequence because Hedwig's performing, and then she runs out and she's in this like white veil, and it's like a stage. She's like at a stage. Tommy Knox is there on stage singing the song that she wrote, whatever. And she walks up to him. He's mouthing the words, and then he walks off, and she puts on his costume, his stage costume.
Okay.
And takes off her wig and performs the last song of the show. And everybody's like wearing different clothes than they were, and it's like a dream sequence, right?
Right.
But it's not a dream. It's like actually happening. And then the song ends, and then the next shot is her completely naked, and she's walking out of a tunnel or out of a alley completely naked, and a tattoo changes on her thigh. It was a tattoo that was like two faces. Now it's one face. And she walks out of the tunnel into the streets completely naked with no wig. And I want to say that I'd understand if people were like angry at this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hedwig, I mean, obviously I've just described the story of a trans character. But the thing is, Hansel is not trans. And I don't... That's what I took from the ending of the movie. They take off the wig, right? And then they're naked. They walk through the alley. I think it's like a rebirth, you know, of a new reclaiming their identity.
Mm-hmm.
And Hansel didn't want a sex change operation. They did it to get out of Berlin to go live a happier life, you know?
Right.
And then they just kind of had to deal with it and decided to choose to continue living as a woman, you know? Even though I don't really think that's what they were, you know?
Mm.
I think a case could be made that they were like non-binary or anything. I mean, especially because of the botched operation and everything.
Right.
And I think I don't want people to get mad at this movie for not being about a trans character technically, you know, because this is still the journey that a trans person does go through. It's just in like a different order, you know, because Hansel turned uncomfortable, then had to turn back to comfortable, where trans people start uncomfortable and they just do the one turn, you know. So this movie is still about a trans journey, even if the character themselves is not technically transgender, you know?
Right.
And I thought that was very interesting. I'd love to get more opinions on that to see what people think. But I thought it was very interesting. It's like punk rock musical. I loved it. You know, I thought that it was great. I know if Blair makes it this far ever, I know that you'd really like it. Blair, friend of the show. I don't know. There's a song at the beginning. It's a myth. It's I don't remember the name, but it's from like Greek. It's where there were children of the sun, moon, and the earth, and I don't know which one it was, but I think children of the moon were two men. They had two heads, two sets of legs, two arms, and two dongles, and they were connected, and that was like a being. And Children of the Sun were like two women connected like that, and they were a being. And Children of the Earth were like a man and a woman connected, right?
Okay.
And then Thor was like, man, I hate these things. I'm going to kill them all. And then Zeus was like, no, wait, watch this. And Zeus split them all in half. And that's how like humans were made. And that was the origin of love, as it was called. So loving someone is finding your other half, literally. Finding the other person who is split from your body.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like a huge theme of the movie. But I think the end of the movie is saying like, that's totally wrong. You know, like that's how I take the ending. It's like,
right.
Because as Hedwig takes on the persona of Tommy Gnosis at the end, puts on his stage costume, back in the beginning of the film, she's the one who gave him the name. She's the one who gave him the costume. You know, he is her creation in a way. She's just reclaiming that part of him, you know, reclaiming themselves at that point. You know, that's how I took it. Again, it's a very strange ending that kind of comes out of nowhere. But that's how I chose to interpret it, and I like that interpretation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. Music's great. I if you hated the music, it probably bog it down a lot. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I ordered it. I liked it that much.
Oh.
So yeah,
We'll see. I'll see that one.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
I really liked it.
And then I can destroy it.
Exactly. I'd love to hear your opinion
On this podcast. I will destroy it like you destroyed Call Me By Your Name.
I like Call You. It's like a 7 out of 10
I
movie.
will destroy it.
Okay.
With great wrath and fury.
Okay.
My number one is a two-parter. Obviously, Portrait of Lady on Fire is both like the honorable number one. But my other number one.
Wait, hold up. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I have one honorable mention.
And what's that?
It is a movie called Dog Day Afternoon, which is a fairly popular movie from what I think. It stars Al Pacino.
Yo.
And it's a heist movie.
Wow, okay.
But listen. I'll get to the LGBT part soon.
They're stealing the gay back.
It's a heist. So the whole movie takes place like in this bank, because he goes and he has like two other people with him. So there's three of them, and the first like 30 minutes is like them like trying to rob the bank. He's like, everyone, blah blah blah, robbing the bank, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
But no one really knows like why he's robbing the bank. So like all the police are outside, and like the negotiator person's like trying to talk to him. He's like, why are you robbing the bank? You know, why are you doing this? And you know, no one really knows why, because he has a wife and kids or whatever. And then you find out that he's robbing the bank to get money to help his lover have transition surgery.
Oh,
I know.
Is that like out of nowhere?
Yeah. This movie's from 1980, and it's like no one is like, oh, disgusting.
They're just like, that makes sense.
Everyone's just like, yeah, okay. And I was like, isn't this movie in the 80s? Yeah. Like, I mean, there's like a few like cops and stuff who are like, ew.
Right, yeah.
But like, that's it.
Yeah, Denzel Washington's like, oh, these bank robbers.
But like, other than that, it's like just chill. Everyone's just chill with it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And I just thought it was really interesting to be in like this like intense like R-rated thriller heist movie with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't want to say a whole lot, but
if I had an honorable mention, I'd say Perks of Being a Wallflower, because one of the central characters of like the three is gay and has a whole arc about being gay in his experience. I like that movie. We both like that movie a lot.
Love Perks of Being a Wallflower. So, great movie.
There's a little thing. But, you know, the focus isn't that necessarily, so that's why we didn't put it on our lists.
Right.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Number one.
My official number one.
Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay. God dang it.
Any dishonorable mentions? Any gay people in movies that you, like, hated?
Okay. I'm going to say something, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this.
Okay. Dumbledore.
Because you said that about Call Me By Your Name, but you say that you still liked it.
Yeah.
This movie I'm about to say these words.
Right.
I do not like this movie. I think it is bad.
Yeah. Which is?
Brokeback Mountain sucks.
Oh, that's a rough one. Now, okay, don't go too far, but like, why? I don't really. I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember it, but I remember being kind of bored.
Yeah. Okay. You talk and Call Me By Your Name about not buying the relationship. Talk about not buying the relationship. It's like, so Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger star in this flick, and I just, not for 1 second, not even a second, I was like, wow, they really love each other. Like, it just caught me, like, literally the beginning of the movie, the first like 30 minutes, they're just on Brokeback Mountain doing their like herding the sheep or whatever kind of job they had, and they're just chilling one night. They're just two dudes chilling. And
aren't they like eating beans or something?
Yeah, whatever. They're chilling in the tent, and then literally, okay, I'll be honest, I fell asleep for like maybe 10-15 minutes in this movie, so maybe I missed something very important. Maybe you did. But literally out of nowhere, they're just both sitting there. They're sleeping. Jake Gyllenhaal kind of like reaches over in his sleep and like grabs his arm to like put around him. I was like, okay, he'll wake up and be like, oh, what the fuck? So that happens. Heath Ledger wakes up and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And then Jake Gyllenhaal just like looks at him, and then they just fuck. I swear they just fuck.
They felt it, dude. The gaydars were going.
And it was like, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
And then, I just, nothing in this movie made me feel like, oh yes, they both go their separate ways, and they get wives, and they have children.
Yeah.
And what?
Well, I just think you're getting a little long in the tooth. If I had a dishonorable mention, I'd probably say Blue is the Warmest Color. I thought that movie felt kind of exploitative, and I just didn't enjoy it. Even though it had Lea Seydoux in it, who I really like, and I want to see her in a lot more stuff. She was in Death Stranding. She was Fragile. And she was like Midnight Paris and The Lobster. She was the leader of the whatever.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. Hated this movie. Just felt kind of gross.
Interesting.
That's all I'll say.
Interesting. I have one more thing about Brokeback, and then I swear I'll be done.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's character is a terrible person.
Well, yeah.
And
but it was like so much that you couldn't like.
I didn't feel anything for him because he just was not a good person.
Yeah.
To me, I didn't think he was like nothing redeemable.
Gotcha.
He's like a bad father. He's a bad husband. He's a bad lover. He's just not a good person.
But a good actor.
Yeah, great actor. Yeah. Really good. But whatever. Okay. Yeah. We will finally get to my number one pick.
Okay. Unless you want to just talk about other ones you watched that didn't make your list. Like, literally just list them, not talk about them. We watched Boys Don't Cry. I know we both did.
Yes, we both watched Boys Don't Cry.
Which you said there was like a sort of a...
It just seemed like people were either like, oh yeah, this movie's great, or people were like, this movie is disgusting. How could they do this?
I thought it was fine. I think they could have... They kind of tapped on how the trans character in that one was kind of like a scummy, like a criminal, and kind of menace to society, and they like touched on it. I would have appreciated if they would have just shown more of a real person, flaws and all, instead of just kind of like hiding that all for like a reveal that doesn't really tell us anything. That was my big thing. Otherwise, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I watched anything else. Oh, Milk.
Oh, Milk. Yeah.
I watched Milk. I liked Milk. I'd never really heard the story of Harvey Milk before.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I'm not very well informed. Yeah, sure. I thought it was really interesting. I learned a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's very tragic what happened. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It would probably be like a 7. We both
watched Philadelphia, but
that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while. We didn't like it enough to do that though. I watched what did I watch? I rewatched Rent, but that's more about AIDS and I guess than actually. But there is like a trans character and multiple bisexual, gay, and lesbian characters in that. That's still good. Yeah. They name dropped Spike Lee in that movie. I thought that was interesting. In the song, yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Interesting.
And I watched The Birdcage, not the original, not the stage play, La Cage aux Folles. It was Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, who played like a gay couple, and their son wanted to get married. So they were like, okay, Dad, you have to send your husband away and get my mom to come back and blah, 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 blah. And ends up not working, and the other dad dresses up as a woman and does
Interesting.
It was pretty funny. I wasn't used to Robin Williams like cursing, because I always saw him in like, I guess like kids movies.
Yeah.
Or family movies. So seeing him just go like, fuck. It was really interesting.
Yeah. I feel it.
Also, just saying, the son's kind of a dick in that movie. Like, I get it was a different time, but like, that's your dad. Like, don't tell him to be like, hey, can you gay it down, Dad? And the dad's like, I guess.
Can you gay it down?
Anyway,
okay.
Number one, finally.
The moment you've all been waiting for to hear my number one.
Yeah.
It's The Handmaiden, which
From
you saw recently.
What, 2016?
I think.
I saw it this morning.
How crazy is that? He just watched it. Very fresh for him.
Yes. Don't count on me to remember things, though.
Okay.
I was busy.
If this movie is Uno reverse card, the movie.
It is. Wow. That is a great...
I think that's the best way you can describe it.
That should be on the box.
This is Uno reverse card, the movie.
Yes.
And it's split into 3 parts.
Yes. Part 2 is probably my favorite, then part 1, then part 3.
Interesting.
I really like part 2 because it was like the freshest one, you know?
Yeah.
So you could see it coming very easily.
It's about this woman. I don't know her name.
Suki?
This is a Japanese movie also.
Talking about Suki? Yeah, it's by Park Chan-wook, Old Boy.
Yeah, he did Old Boy.
Yeah.
And it's,
which Spike Lee did a remake of. Look at all these connections.
dude, it's like everywhere, bro. So she is part of like this like con group.
Yeah.
And
Suki. Yeah.
And she is going to this beautiful part of Japan. Are they going to Korea or going to Japan? I can never remember.
To Japan, I think. Wasn't it in like Nagoya or something like that?
Yeah. They're from Korea going to Japan. She's going to be the handmaiden to this
lady.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like what? The 19...
I don't know when it takes place.
There's electricity in cars. So there you go.
But older.
Yeah, old electricity in cars.
So, sometime. And they're basically just going to like, their plan is to get close to her, and then he's going to marry, the main con man is going to marry the lady, and then he's going to be like, this bitch is crazy, and they're going to put her in the loony bin.
And take all her stuff.
And take all her money. That's the plan.
Yeah.
But then
they get to the loony bin. Their plan went off without a hitch. This is a kind of long movie. It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, pretty long. The plan goes great. You're like, OMG, this is incredible. So good. And then they get to the insane asylum, and they're going to take away the lady. But then they take away the Suki. And you're like, what?
And she's like, what? Get your hands off me.
Like,
she's the lady. And she's like, oh, my lady has gone mad. It's so sad.
Yeah. Oh, important. There's like narration throughout the film.
Yeah.
And the first film is narrated by Suki. She's like, I'm a con person.
Yeah.
I'm doing all this con stuff. And then the movie cuts and it's like part 2. And then it's the lady. And she's like, and she's narrating now. And she's like, you think I'm some stupid idiot.
Yeah, you think I'm some stupid... You think I'm a little lamb. I'm actually a snake or something like that.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you find out in the second part, you watch basically the whole first part again, but from a completely different perspective.
Yes.
And you find out that she was working with the
con
man
the whole time.
The whole time. And then that happens. And then you get to the third part, and this is when, and this is when the third reverse card comes out. And you realize that Suki and her were both working together, conning the con man.
Because they were romantically
because they
interested.
fell in love.
Yeah, they fell in love with each other.
So, and then they own him, basically. They totally wreck this guy.
Totally own him.
And then they get to go off and live together.
Yeah. They disguise themselves. They go far away, and they live together with all their money and power.
Yeah.
Not power, but...
It's just literally Uno reverse card the movie.
Cool. No, the thing I like about it the most is how much of it happened in the same exact time period.
Right, yeah.
Like, this is the same scene. I'm just staying for literally like 20 seconds longer.
You get to see like what happened.
Or you see like, he was outside the room when this scene happened, so he heard this. Oh, she was hiding in the bushes. Stuff like that. It's just very cool to see.
It's like such a like intricately crafted film. I think this movie is gorgeous. I don't know.
Yeah.
You hated Call Me by Your Name's look,
but this doesn't look like Call Me by Your Name at all.
I didn't say it looked like Call Me by Your Name.
Oh, okay. Well, no, this movie's gorgeous.
Yes, I don't know who the cinematographer was,
right?
But like every single frame of this movie, it's like Portrait, where you're just like, yep, picture. That's my wallpaper now.
Right, exactly.
Thank you very much. And the performances, I don't know I don't really recognize any of the actors. I looked at their stuff. I don't really haven't seen much of what they're in, but I thought they were very convincing. Half the movie is like in Japanese and half of it's in Korean.
Right.
But yeah, one of my favorite scenes is when this is in the third part, I think. Yeah, it's in the third part because that's after you figure out that they've been working together too. When they are in like the library where she reads or whatever to
reads like the weird porno books
really,
to old men.
Yeah, there's like a really perverted part of this story. Which just watch it. When they rip all the books down,
throw
and
them
she's ripping out all the hentai and stuff.
Exactly. Literally, there's a tentacle part.
Yes, there is. And they're just like throwing all the books everywhere. I just really like that scene. And yeah.
This is surprisingly the most erotic of all of these movies we just talked about.
This movie is sexy.
The lesbian sex scene in this film is gratuitous.
It's very intense.
It's really intense. Like, you get all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had to say.
It is very like, you see it the first time and it's kind of chill, but then you like see it again and like the third part and you're like, whoa!
You see the whole thing.
Yeah, you see
like
it
they
all.
stop before they get too bad in the first part. The third part, it's like, oh no, you see it all.
They do the nasty. Speaking of nasty, fingers get chopped off in this movie.
But only fingers.
Only fingers, yes, because luckily the con man
is a
had
smart
one last
boy.
con to pull before he died.
And he saved his Pinor.
Right. Oh. He gives her the ricin.
It's like concentrated opium or something like that.
Yeah. And he's like, you can use this or whatever. And the scene where she's going to use it on him, he thinks that everything's been pulled off perfect and they're going to do the thing. When she tries to get him to drink the cup, I thought it was, I've never seen anything like it in a movie. Usually the person just like drinks the cup, but he like won't drink it.
Yeah.
So she drinks it and then like starts to like move on him. And as they're kissing, she'll like drink it and just like spit all of the wine out like into his mouth.
Yeah,
and
like
then
he'll
he's
kiss and he'll transfer it.
And then he's like, "Oh, this is kinky."
Yeah.
And so he's like really into it. And then she just doesn't. She does the whole glass of wine into his mouth, and then he just like passes out on the floor.
Right, yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, very good.
The Handmaiden.
I think it went like kind of under the radar, maybe. For me, at least.
Right, yeah, I haven't heard about it until
I heard about it. I had, but I didn't know that it had lesbians.
Right.
Like I'd heard about The Handmaiden, but I didn't know that it was about a lesbian or two lesbians.
Two.
Yeah.
Dos. The Handmaiden rocks. Go see it. It's on Amazon Prime.
One last thing that not about The Handmaiden, but just in general, just as watching all these, maybe you've noticed something you can say something about just watching a bunch of LGBT centric films. Just something about them, something about just like the gay experience in general, maybe. Do not be offended by what I'm about to say.
Oh boy.
Just don't do it. I'm going to just say two words: gay narcissism. And that must sound awful because narcissism does not have a good connotation to it. But I feel like in a lot of these movies, specifically Handmaiden and Call Me By Your Name a little bit, and Hedwig and the Angry Inch certainly, there is a desire for a homosexual person to their mate, as much as they want to be with them, they want to literally be them. Like a partner that you find, you literally want to be this person as well as be with them, Like think about The Handmaiden, literally the final shot when they're making love is mirror image, like, completely symmetrical,
right?
Which was a very impressive shot, I thought.
Yeah, the final shot.
And I think it was interesting because obviously Hedwig and the Angry Inch brought up the myth of people literally being connected and then split and finding one another again. And in Call Me By Your Name, they're both trying to be like intellectuals. They both have their own fields or whatever, but he looks up to her as an older like mentor almost, at certain points. I just thought it was an interesting thing to see that. I don't know if that's a thing that you get in like a straight relationship. Like does a man want to be like his woman, like not necessarily, but I feel like it's very common for a gay relationship that you aspire to be the person that the other one is, you know. Which I don't know, it's romantic certainly, you know, to literally become the same person. You know, it's a romantic notion, even if maybe I don't agree with it personally myself. Just like finding it ideal, you know. But I think it's an interesting notion that you see come up somewhat often in films like these.
3 out of like what?
Well, I mean,
10.
I could probably stretch and make them the other ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. That was a very interesting thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say.
Yeah, this is good. Hey.
Cool. So, we're going to move on to the review of the week.
Oh, dude. My reviews.
Oh, dude. Then maybe I should go first if I'm going to be
honest. My review is kind of the business.
It's kind of the business. Mine is, well, let's see if you guess. 1 out of 10 stars. Okay.
Yeah. 1 out of 10.
Gay porn disguised as a road trip movie. Okay. I'll keep going. My wife and I couldn't get through more than about 45 minutes of this movie. I don't consider myself very conservative, but I really don't care to see teenage boys jerking off and peeing every 10 to 15 minutes. I also found the constant reference to drugs offensive. The only thing remotely interesting about the movie was seeing their young girlfriends naked in the beginning. After that, it was all downhill, unless maybe you are a gay male. Technically, there's nothing wrong with that, but I wish they would at least advertise this movie as such. Any guess?
Gay road trip?
Yeah. I was just as bewildered as you were.
I'll be honest,
This is for Y Tu Mama Tambien.
Oh.
Actually. They call this gay porn. Okay. The 2 male characters, they kiss once while they're both getting blown by a woman. And they just happen to like kiss each other a little bit. That's the extent of them actually being gay.
Yikes.
The rest of it, they're young. They happen to be trying to get with a woman, you know, so they're being like sexual, but never towards each other until they happen to kiss at once, which is a very interesting thing with the movie. With the rest of the movie, it is an interesting part to kind of think back about on. But again, that's all that happens that's gay. Calling this gay porn just because they are talking about sexual things is very weird.
I wish it was advertised.
Right? Like, they only jerk off together once, and it's on diving boards, and they're like talking about women they think is hot. They're like, oh, Miss Esperante or whatever. They're like, oh, your mom. He's like, what the fuck? You know?
What a strange person.
I thought it was a very strange. Like, I think they just saw that kiss and it retroactively made the rest of the movie super gay. They were like, oh no, this movie was gay the whole time, but it wasn't.
What the heck?
I don't know, but yours.
Okay. Mine's kind of a giveaway right at the beginning.
Okay.
I think. 1 out of 10. Sorry. Japanese is terrible.
Okay. It's gotta be. Continue.
Sorry. Japanese is unbelievably terrible. I can't catch almost. If Japanese part is not related with main part, it's okay. But it is. Especially it is related with dad's personality. So I can't feel wheel. And I can forgive if pronunciation is bad, but if emotion of acting is bad, I can't accept. And one more thing, I feel bad. Ojo-san's hair, Bunkin Takashimada, is so bad. I'm sorry.
So this is a Korean English speaker who watched without subtitles, I take it, who doesn't know Japanese.
I don't know.
And they're mad that they don't know Japanese and they don't know English. That was mean. Do your best.
Oh, wait, I didn't realize there's a PS on it.
Oh, okay.
If it is Japanese voice actors after recording version, my point is 6 point.
Okay. That one I really don't. Dad. Who's dad? There isn't a dad in the movie.
I know. I think you're talking about like the main con man.
Oh, must be. Yeah, dad. Well, that might be like a language thing. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's someone that it feels like a Korean person who watched the movie without subtitles and couldn't understand any of the Japanese and was just really confused because they speak Japanese pretty often.
Yeah.
So I liked what they did by that movie where it was Japanese was yellow and Korean was white. Yeah. I thought that was cool. The subtitles.
The subtitles.
Yeah, not the Japanese. The Japanese subtitles.
Oh.
Were
Come on.
That's too far.
Man. Good reviews.
Good reviews. So we've got email. Z.
Emails.
Okay, we got 2.
2 emails.
And
We got 2 emails.
We got 2 emails. Crazy.
How about that?
This is. Well, we talked about Last of Us Part 2 earlier in the show, and I'd like to actually ask you, listeners, a question. Would you like us to talk about video games more?
Yeah,
this is a movie thing, but like you play more video games than I do, but I dabble. I play enough. I would play more if I had the time, because I really like video games as a production, as storytelling device. So we could talk about more if you want. Let us know what you think.
Let us know in the comments below.
But as far as the email goes, you can email us at.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that. I hope that caught up on the mic. It was very strange.
At thestaglerpod@gmail.com.
Very cool. And this email says, "Hey guys, it's no secret that video game movies suck." That's pretty true. Outside of the kids' movies like Sonic or cult classics like Mortal Kombat, they range from mediocre to awful. Do you think there is any game that could possibly have a legitimate good movie made from it? Hard mode, no Last of Us. Okay. Well, that's already happening because the HBO show, kind of. So,
yes,
understandable.
I will say one thing.
That Warcraft was amazing.
Okay. The newest Tomb Raider was pretty okay.
Yeah.
But
what's the worst video game movie you've seen?
I don't know.
Ratchet and Clank was okay. Like, it was fine. Worst one I've seen was probably the Yakuza, the Yakuza movie.
I heard Assassin's Creed was really bad.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Okay, let's actually answer the question.
Yes, let's do that.
A video game that we'd like to see become a movie.
A video game we'd like to see become a movie.
Or I guess it says like have a good chance at being good.
Right, exactly. Well, they're doing Uncharted, so that doesn't count. You can't say that.
Can't do Uncharted. Horizon Zero Dawn, one of my favorite games. Would not work as a movie. Yeah, that
would not work as a movie.
Would completely not work as a movie.
Okay, here's the thing. He doesn't say... I'm going to assume he means not animated. Because I can think of a lot of... Horizon Zero Dawn as an animated movie could work. Like Sekiro as like an animated... Like anime. Sekiro anime could be really cool.
That could be cool. Interesting.
But let's assume he means live action.
Right.
This is a tough question.
This is a tough question. I'm trying to think, really.
Well, here's the thing, and this is unfair. I know a lot of people hate them. I really like the Resident Evil movies. The live action ones. I think they're fun. They're not good. I'm not saying they're good, but I think they're fun. It sucks about what they did to their stunt performers, but I did enjoy the movies. What are you looking at?
I'm gonna look up best games of all time. So
really, so we
can get a list.
So we can get a list.
Kind of get a list going.
GTA
5. No.
GTA 5 is a movie.
The Last of Us Part 2. No.
I mean, honestly, at this point, it's hard to think of games that haven't already got some kind of because it seems like the ones that would, like The Witcher is one.
Portal. What do you think of Portal as a movie?
Well, there was that short film that did it, and it was pretty interesting. But the problem with that is that the main character doesn't talk; they're mute.
A silent film.
Yeah, but they're also the only character besides the robots.
That's true.
I don't think that would work very well.
Half-Life 2. Fortnite. The Fortnite movie.
Well, they already did that. That was Welcome to Morrowind.
Dang. See, and the other thing is that a lot of really great games
are basically already movies.
Right. Like
Red Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie.
And the Batman games are great, but we already have Batman movies.
Yeah.
Spider-Man game is great, but we already have Spider-Man movies.
This is a really much tougher question than I thought it would be.
Jeez, I'm looking.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Actually, you know what? Tony Hawk Underground, like that thing where it's like a kid trying to be a skater.
Yeah.
And then Bloodborne.
Bloodborne as a movie.
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. I don't think they'd pull it off.
Ooh. The newest God of War.
Oh, a God of War movie?
Could be a good movie.
See, the problem with that is that for video game movies to be good, they'd need like infinity budget, and nobody would give a video game movie that big of a budget. But it could be. It could be really good. But again,
God of War could be
the only problem with that is that Kratos is so iconic that anybody else who doesn't look like Kratos is probably going to look a little weird. And the voice also has to match,
Right, yeah.
That would be very, very troublesome. Even though Atreus is like a real actor. Like, it's actually his face.
To me.
This is a much tougher question than I thought. I'm so sorry. I guess I don't have an answer.
This is hard. I think God of War is pretty good. Like, if the newest game was adapted to a movie, I think it could actually be pretty decent, possibly. Heavy Rain.
Again, but they're like, I don't even want to count those because they're already so cinematic. You know, like what's a fun like? I don't know.
This is tough.
This is tough. I give up, honestly.
We can't just give up.
Okay. Then give me an. You said God of War, and like I get it.
I think God of War is a pretty good one. I'm trying to think of like single player story driven games.
Right.
I'm just having a hard
But
time.
maybe that's bad because like Sonic isn't, Mortal Kombat isn't. I mean, they're both awful. Well, no, Sonic is apparently okay, but
okay.
they're making a
Detective
Mario movie.
Pikachu, was that good?
But that is a movie.
Was it good though?
Oh, I think it was fine.
I know. I was just saying like it's a Pokemon movie. I don't know.
You know what? Doom. Make another. There already was one, but
There's
make
a Doom movie.
It's Doom. Yeah,
Doom.
It's awful.
Oh.
It's got The Rock and
Nice.
Carl Urban.
Oh.
It was really, really bad.
Gotcha.
Guys, I don't know what to tell you.
A Zelda movie?
But again, that's another mute character. Like,
Dude,
you know?
this is tough.
Well, because like basically how I feel is that if you're gonna do a video game movie, I don't want them to just do a video game as a movie, you know? So like, if it was a completely new story, like I could see a Doom being fun, a completely new story, but it is just about killing demons and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I could see a Bloodborne being cool if
Yeah.
like imagine
or like a Dark Souls.
yeah, like imagine like you have like a cathedral ward or something where there's a bunch of characters who meet up in this one place and they're like, you have to go out into the hunt, and he's like, okay, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an adventure. Maybe there's like a party, like I don't know, that wouldn't be whatever, but you know, they got a little meetup spot and they're like, we have to take down this dude. It's like, how do we get to him? We have to kill these.
We have to
cool
kill
things.
Mikolash.
Exactly. Could be interesting. I'm moving on.
Yeah, this is tough. We tried our best.
We did. We really did.
I'm
I
sorry
think we
if we
tried
disappointed you.
too hard. Next one is animals. Hey, Nick and Justin, I'm curious if you have any favorite famous animals in movies. Any kind, be them short appearances or talking ones. No cartoons, though. Thanks.
No cartoons.
It's cheating, he says.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is. Okay, I can think of two off the top of my head.
There ain't nothing in the rules says a dog can't play basketball. Airbud.
Airbud.
Airbud's great. Airbud's really cool.
I was gonna do John Wick's dog, not the one that dies, but the other one.
Oh, well, see, I've only seen the first one, so the pit bull I know nothing about. So quiet.
Sorry.
I would say Sam from I Am Legend.
That was my other one.
I love Sam. Sam's great.
Rest in peace.
Sam.
I
really like the
Is there
monkey
a good
from Pirates of
horse?
the Caribbean. The little monkey.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
one. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of like a horse.
War Horse.
No, not War Horse.
What's wrong with War Horse?
Not my favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just one. Oh, it is favorite.
My favorite
Okay.
horse is from an animated movie. So,
But it's your favorite non-animated horse, or is it? Racing Stripes, the zebra.
Secretariat, Racing Stripes.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to think of
Any
animals? in
any
movies?
talking animal that's voiced by like a comedian or rapper. So like Beverly Hills Chihuahua, that one that came out. Okay.
Marmaduke.
Ooh, the new one voiced by. Oh, who is it voiced by? I don't remember.
Marmaduke rocks. Yeah.
It was live action.
Yeah,
It was a live action dog.
Yeah.
Beethoven's kind of cool.
Beethoven.
Oh, it's the King of Staten Island guy is doing a new Marmaduke.
Oh.
You know who I'm talking about?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think that's a pretty good list.
it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm missing. Is there like a How did
QWERTY.
Okay, QWERTY from Mr. Robot,
Yeah.
good one. But I don't know why I didn't say this. The number one animal in any movie is Hedwig from Harry Potter.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's really good. We talked about Hedwig in the show.
That's all.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to wrap it up for that. I think that, you know what? Last question didn't do so well. Knocked it out of the park for this one.
Yeah,
So
we killed it. We bounced back.
there we go. And so thank you for the email. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the
listening.
emails.
That wraps up our LGBTQ plus episode 7, right?
7. We've done 7 of these already.
Which is crazy. Soon we're gonna have
double
like
digits.
50 million.
Maybe
soon
50
enough.
million.
Well, really, I'm thinking if we ever went to 100, that'd be like 3 years from now. Every other week, that'd be a very long
If we do
time.
every other week, it's like 220 something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A year.
Yeah, it'd be a very long time from now. So, don't know if that's gonna happen, but keep your fingers crossed. Next episode 8.
Oh. Next episode's going to be killer.
What happens if you take an 8 and flip it on its side?
Becomes infinity. Because guess what? Today, literally right now, I'm doing this podcast instead of watching my favorite show on television right now.
Right now, yeah. Dark.
The 3rd season just came out literally today. Right now.
That's what we're both going to be doing as soon as we're done.
We are going to talk about the whole show.
Because it's going to be over. We're going to have seen it all.
It's over. It's the last season.
Yeah.
3 seasons. It's on Netflix. If you have not seen Dark, please, I am begging you. Yes. I like it a lot more than him. He likes it a lot.
I still like it, though.
But I like it very, very much.
Probably my favorite Netflix original.
It's very good. Watch it in German. Please do not watch the dub.
Oh, do not watch the dub. No. And that's not like the subs are superior. The dub is just like not good for Dark.
Yeah. Please watch it in German. You can handle the subtitles, I promise.
Yes. In Deutsch.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows. Hopefully they stick the landing. It can be in like my top 3 favorite shows ever. Yeah. So I'm super looking forward to watching that. We're going to talk about the whole show next episode. So if you haven't seen it, catch up so you can.
Spoilers.
No, and it's not very long. There's like 8 episodes in a season. There's 3 seasons.
Super easy
and you have 2 weeks from right now.
Yeah, super easy to watch. You just have to, put the phone down, pay attention. You're going to have to read, obviously.
You have to pay attention.
So, yeah.
Or you will be so lost.
Yeah, because a lot of revelations happen if you aren't paying attention. You might not get it at first, and that'll hamper your experience.
Yes, it can get very, very confusing.
Yes, in a good way.
Yes.
But that wraps it up. So, guys, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
I love you. Please be safe and happy, and be who you want. Trans lives matter. All that good stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.